The rain in Spain falls mostly on plain.
Does it?
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. That is a 9.
The water in
The
Mallorca.
Human Torch? It was in like
Don't taste
the
like water.
superhero.
I presume that's what it means.
That's really weird.
But I don't know why that... I mean, Ron Burgundy is why that's a vocal exercise.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Hello, by the way.
Hello.
I have just done a huge amount of like setting up, hence the instant map camera, because, well, lots happened
There's
last
a load of
session.
them.
It's a big battle happened, and now I'm alright, thank you. And we've got a lot to sort out, so we shall see how this plays out. Last time, the party did a little bit of shopping in Yibret. Theren, you investigated. Well, just a hunch, I guess. Totally not metagaming at all.
No. I've never done that once in my life.
Not at all. Of maybe an item that increases charisma. And the shopkeepers sort of that you spoke to couldn't necessarily help, but did point you towards...
They weren't useless.
Not useless, no.
Laura,
Tales of elemental magic, and particularly of genies and djinn that might possibly be of help. I can never remember which one's the generic one. I think it's genie is the generic, isn't it? That's the term I mean.
Yeah.
I do mean that, not the air elemental. I get that mixed up.
Gin is the air elemental, I think.
Yeah,
Probably is, yeah. Bruca, you spent some time closing your shop up with your fabulous assistant, setting her up for the time and using animal forms to avoid the majority of detection, which you did quite well as you were skulking around Gibret. And Aubrey,
Hello.
picking up your goggles of night,
Ba-ba-ba.
looking for people, including the hooded one, looking for people, looking for you, looking for... There was a little convoluted, but you did... You snooped around.
Yeah.
Which is good. And you did hear rumours of the Hooded One having cheated and being thrown out of the Colosseum, and totally it has made itself into worthy news of Yibret, which is something to note. But you didn't find anything out about the Hooded One's
like
backstory.
That's right.
Exactly. Backstory or sort of the mysterious background as to who this person is.
Disappeared.
Exactly. Totally disappeared.
So many.
But then, after you wrapped everything up, you sailed from Yibret on the Falling Star, the ship of Captain Sarcher, alongside a motley crew of individuals that you've picked up along your journey, mostly from the Beggar's Bowl, but from various bits and places. Captain Sarcher herself with her crew. You had Drazda, the Tabaxi, young teenage wizard apprentice who really wants to come along and try and fix the problem that happened to Blue. Very cute.
Hashtag wholesome content.
Hashtag wholesome content. Hashtag just painful potential death.
Jesus.
Hey, you brought a teenager with you. That's your choice. You've got Odie and
He's
Vincent.
a teenager.
Well, it's a different sort of teenager, isn't it? She's like young teenager.
Dude, what the fuck?
You had Odie and Vincent.
Yeah.
The fantastic
Not
adventurer.
teenagers.
Not teenagers at all. No, early 40s for both of them. There's sort of are they? Aren't they? Who knows what they are? Pair of
A
renegade.
married couple that's not a couple.
Exactly. Married through work. You had. Who else have you got with you? Is that about it?
Yeah. Satcher, the crew. Yeah, that's all of them, isn't
That's
it?
about it.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes, so we mentioned her.
Oh,
she's not
Kasaki.
important. Yeah.
There we go. Theren's childhood friend.
Patria.
Yeah, fellow
that
trainee.
He doesn't have feelings for
That's
at all.
so
Not at all.
No
Not
way.
at all. And is totally kick-ass in every way and is
Yeah.
totally fine. She's with you as well.
She's fine.
And you set off,
You
sailing
did that.
from Yiblet on a bit of a convoluted way, path to stop yourselves from being followed. And it looked like it had worked to at least the start of your journey. Nobody had followed you out of Yiblet, and certainly nobody seemed to question your cover story that you were heading to Melis to go and see Blue's family to express your condolences, when actually you were heading towards Zalidia via a convoluted route, sort of north and then west round Gibret to eventually head south. It takes you about 5-6 days. If the weather was good, and it was not. After a day or two of sailing, the wind dies very unusually and a period of total calm weather hits, when almost stranded in the middle of the ocean without wind, even Captain Sarcher and her storm elemental power, storm sorcerer powers her ability to move the wind around. There's nothing for her to do. And you spot a ship on the horizon, a large pirate vessel, which you very quickly determined was frequented by a large number of very aggressive orcs.
And 4 Space Marines.
It's very important that the Space Marines are used as the models. Hey, if you don't have, not everyone has models in D&D. It's whatever you can use to get the immersion. You spent a little bit of time attempting to get away from this pirate ship, to no avail. The sweeps of the oars, unfortunately not picked up on until much later into the battle, was propelling the ship forward, and eventually it caught up with you. Once it did, after exchanging multiple projectiles of ballistas and arrows, where your sails were totally destroyed, but so was the pirate ships. Unfortunately, it wasn't using them at the time, but it's still good to know. You killed a very good amount of orcs. I have down that 34 are dead. For 0 casualties, almost casualties on your side, but not quite yet. It's gone fantastically for you. But you are left after the pirate ship with whatever momentum it had from the oars on one side of the ship, the other side now burning, rams into the falling star. You can see a weighted metal, almost battering ram, blended and carved into the front of the ship, smashes through the falling star, leaving a big sort of gouge in the back of the ship. The hull of the ship, now looking, if you to give you an idea, it's now on 108 health out of 200. So the hull's taken about half damage. It's starting to look a bit weathered. You don't think it's a problem in terms of sailing, but it does not look like a new ship anymore. You can see the entire back section has been sort of just crushed inwards. Luckily, the pirate ship almost forcing the ship down slightly, and doesn't look like any water has got into the falling star just yet. But the hit was fairly impressive. But it didn't stop an assault of some kind. Aubrey flying with her new wings, Kisaki and Theren leaping across the divide, with Brukar shortly behind as you step onto the pirate ship. And you see before you a sight. Towards the back of the ships, you can see 2 up by the helm and 3 very just uselessly flailing around with ropes and sails of sort of broken debris of what sort of left of the ship. 5 crew. You can see a large portion of the crew. Once the crossbow orcs at the front of the ship, you can see now their bodies you're sort of stood on top of. Almost difficult terrain, purely from corpses at the front of the boat where they all were lying. That purple, grey, black skin, long faces, ears, hair in very sort of braided formats. They are all, most of the crew and the crossbow sort of users were very similar to Theren in build, weirdly. Not particularly dexterous, but not particularly bulky, just very strong and very lean. The orcs you can see in front of you now, however, not so much. There are 3 teams, because hint, the DM has made it a bit easier for themselves by consolidating in a bit into 3 teams, of orcs that are geared for raiding, effectively. You can see amongst them all manner of clubs, axes, swords, a motley equipment of gears. You can see about 21 of them. They formed a ring, stopping you from getting in front of the ship and getting onto the ship. At the front of them were these red Space Marines, but the red figures are towards David. You see 4 orcs with a much tougher composition than the rest of them. These ones you can see stand at least half a foot taller than every other orc. They are armoured slightly, each with 2 weapons, and unlike the other orcs, who are all like muttering to each other, stomping feet, waving weapons, you can see in part of the ring, Theren having given just this battle roar of we will not find your bodies. You can see the ring is being held and they are all pushing at it. You can see every now and then one will sort of like go to make a move and see if its friends are moving and back away. But it gives that impression of constant movement. These 4 imagine fury in the eye of the storm. They are calm. They are impassionate fury as they all, flexing their muscles, stand at you, watching. The captain of the ship, a much taller figure, very similar build to these four at the front, having been hit quite unexpectedly, and actually a fantastic move from Aubrey. I was looking back at what happened last time. He was not expecting you to appear in the sky and have half his health taken out in one go. It was a pretty impressive shot. He was a bit cocky and regretted it. He's retreated back into his room. You don't know where he has gone, but a female orc dressed in robes and leathers and hides has just dropped a staff. The same spellcaster as before, who summoned a fireball on your ship. You can see her having just reminded you all that she could fireball you again. You stand with this in front of you. The four of you now, Kisaki with the three of you, this line of orcs stopping. They are all tall. They are all but upwards of 5'9", 5'10", burly orcs, male and female, but angry and stomping, and the noise. You have to raise your voices to be heard. What is your first reaction? What are you doing right now? Theren, you've just given your speech, and there's definitely a level of they're not coming forward at this point.
We got a bus.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got shield and bear claw out. The staff has just been dropped at the caster's feet.
Yeah, you can see the blue one there.
Great. Theren will point bear claw at one of the orcs that is close to the staff and go, "You shall bring it here now."
You can sort of see there's a movement as the orc picked out in the line just sort of looks either way.
As soon as he looks, I go, "No, not at them, at me. You shall get it and bring it now."
You can see he sort of goes to like move backwards, and immediately like the orcs on either sides of him just sort of and like push him in and link arms and stop him from moving. And there's a moment where he goes and holds himself back and just sort of spits at the floor in front of you.
I sort of I sort of say, loud enough for us to hear. I'm sure they'll hear it as well. I said, currently we are under a truce. In pirate terms, that is parlay. They won't attack if we don't attack. We currently have the upper hand. We do not attack. We talk terms.
The episode is called Parlay.
I was not
I'm so glad you said that. You can see,
flying
watching this all happen, the spellcaster, she, with the staff on the floor, she kind of puts her foot on it and sort of pushes it behind her. "You will not have my staff. We will not attack you. But you get off our ship now. We have allowed you to live. We outnumber you. We could kill you on the deck of this ship, even if it meant the cost of half of our lives. We would win this battle, and you know it. Leave while you can."
Allow me to clarify one piece of information. Has it not already cost you half of your lives?
Nay, and the rest of our crew would lay their lives down as well. Then surrender to you. Do not take this parlay as a sign of weakness. This is common sense. You have fought well. You are not the easy targets that we intended. We saw you a dead ship in the water and we attacked. What did you expect we would do? Do not take this as a sign of weakness.
We have questions and you shall answer them. What brought you to us? Were we simply a ship that you saw?
Dead in the water.
And nothing more?
What more excuse do we need?
You weren't hired by anyone.
No.
Do I believe this
Make an
person?
insight check.
Just the elf.
Theren would also like to do that.
Yeah, feel free.
Okay.
Yeah, you can if you want.
No, I'm too busy flying.
Aubrey's too busy flying. You can see, the wings.
Mine.
They don't flap. They almost sort of suspend themselves
Yeah.
around you, giving yourself like a sense of aura as it lifts you. How far off the ground are
I'm
you right
literally
now?
5 feet. I'm not that high.
Well, I
Yeah, so as long as I'm
Like
taller
pointless hovering. Yeah,
than,
I like
as long
that.
as I'm taller than Theren.
Yeah,
That's all that
insight.
matters.
14.
14.
1.
1. Theren, your military training is kicked in right now. As confident as you are in the fact that you think your weight of personality is holding, you can't help but see, even in this ring around you, there are 10 orcs that could rush you at any moment. You are heightened and aware. Even in your situation, you know you could easily best one of these people, like one of these orcs, hand to hand. 10 of them at once.
Yeah.
Even you're weighing up the options. It's just keeping you busy. Bruka, there's a sense of, you see a flick in her expression, but whether it's acknowledgement or confusion in the question, you're not sure. We saw you dead in the water. Easy target. We've taken cargo vessels like you before. It's not often the wind drops like that. With no movement in our sweeps, we crush anything and pick up the pieces from the sea.
I'm not sure, but I don't think they're working for any.
I agree.
The masked lot.
I also agree. It seems illogical there would be an alliance between those two. Right.
Johnson. Yeah. Go.
Not loud enough for them to hear, but sort of quietly enough
you
for
can.
the party to hear.
You can try. You can hear they are constantly murmuring and talking. There's a background noise here. You can see the ocean, the waves on the boat. Even as you're not moving now, the groan of, because at the moment the falling star is wedged onto this pirate ship. There's a lot of noise, background noise. So you can easily talk to each other.
We could fight every one of them, but whether or not we would prevail, I do not know.
But think about what she just said. And I sort of hover closer. She said they would rather die than surrender to us, which indicates they have failed in their mission. It is shame and honour for any pirate to be bested by a team of 9. We've killed most of them, and the shame is what we have over them currently.
Very good.
Thank you. I know that.
As this is all happening, on the falling star, you can see Odie taking in sort of not quite mothering, but the sort of just taking command of the situation on the boat. She's looking around. You can see Sarcha, Drazda, both peering from the boat, staying very much on the boat. The crew huddled around. You can see a lot of people are sort of being injured. So while you're doing this, she's going to cast a 2nd level healing spirit.
Oh,
Yay.
nice.
Which, whilst this is all happening, gives 10d6 worth of healing.
To everyone on the boat.
So she's going to give 3 to Sarcha, 3 to Drazda, and 4 more to anyone else who's still on the boat that needs healing.
She needs healing.
Yeah? What about Odie?
Everyone who goes in the
Odie.
area gets 10.
Yeah, but she's on the boat still at the moment.
We're
She's back
here.
at the falling star. You are on the pirate ship.
No, I mean, everyone on the boat can get 10d6, because it's just when you go into it. I
No,
don't think
it's a
drains
pull.
it.
So basically,
It's a pull.
it is
Okay,
it is
okay.
a spirit. You summon it on a place. It lasts for 1 minute, which is 10 actions.
Okay.
And every turn, if you move into the space,
It uses up
it
one.
uses up 1.
Right,
Yeah.
sorry.
But I think the spirit can only use a maximum of 1 per turn.
Yeah.
You can't. It is an
Combat
out of
spell.
combat
My bad,
spell, effectively.
sorry.
So,
Yeah.
so it is a total of 10d6.
Um,
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm happy to be corrected on that.
Yeah, Odie would like at least 2, I think.
Odie would like 2. What about Vincent? What's Vincent on?
Vincent is just above half.
Just above half. So she's going to give 2 to Vincent, 2 to Odie, 3 to Sarcha, and 3 to Drazda. So
Yeah.
I'll roll for Sarcha.
I'll do Drazda.
6 points back.
I'll do Odie, and it's just
Yeah,
it's just
thank you.
2d6 plus, and not
It's
not plus.
just 2d6. It doesn't have any pluses on this.
Am
8 for Drazda.
7 for Odie.
Perfect. Drazda's on full.
Bollocks for Vincent.
Yay! The dice work.
Yeah, fantastic. And if
Bollocks
Vincent
is
still looks
4 in
rough,
total, by the way.
if Vincent still looks rough, she will use a level 1 healing
He's
cure wounds on him.
He's 3
No,
quarters.
no, she'll use it.
Yeah. Well,
So I'll roll for
Yeah,
that.
you roll for that, I
Is
don't
it
know.
plus 2?
oh wait, what was this? Sorry.
Cure wounds.
She doesn't have cure wounds.
Did she not?
No.
Did she get rid of that?
Yeah,
she
it
got
took
rid
us
of it when she got healing spirit. Yeah, fair play. Right, no, none of that.
Sorry, I didn't want to be that
No,
person.
no, that's fine. No,
Like,
you're,
"Oh, sorry,
there are so many NPCs. I'm relying on these guys to be able to tell me a little bit what's going on. There's movement from the cabin. As outstepping from the cabin, the captain comes back out. As he does, you can see the remnants of a red, thick liquid around his lips. And he sort of spits it out, throws a bottle onto the floor. And you can see all along a particularly bad gash that Aubrey had left across his armour. Already a salve of some kind has been put across it. Captain looks like he is, in this time, healed a significant amount of his wounds.
Yeah.
He makes his way up to the spellcaster and sort of stands by her side.
Oh, everyone's gonna fall over.
First mate Burn. They don't appear to have left our ship. Yeah, they're refusing to leave. What should we do, Captain? And he mutters something in Orcish. Your time on this ship is becoming impractical. This parlay has gone on long enough. Be on your way.
You asked what you should do, and I will tell you. You shall sail away. You shall carry on with your lives. But know one thing. If we so much as hear of a crew with your names again, thank you, I know hers, I'll know what to hear out for, then nothing will stop us. I will turn aside every part of Xerieos until I find your ship, find your people, and one by one they will all die until just you remain.
Make an intimidation check.
Oh. Don't get a 1.
17.
17.
It did look like a 1.
He's going to save against that. And with the crew around him, he's going to have advantage. Okay. You can see there's a moment where he thinks about it, and there's a smile grin into his face. Hunt us down. No, we let you hear from today, and we don't see you. Because if we see you again, we will hunt you down. And we know this time that we just burn you from a distance. There's no point looting whatever's on that pathetic boat. And he spits on the ground. At this point, the 4 tougher orcs, you can see just in unison, start to walk forward very slowly. Push them forward 5 feet towards you. All looking at you, Theren. Bouncers, yeah, very much like you can see. The tall figures sort of now pressing and really sort of pushing the moment. I suggest you get off the boat before my men remove you.
What is the name of the ship and the captain who are we to avoid? It will help us to avoid you.
I'm Captain Longtooth. I'm well known in these parts. And this ship, I'm surprised you don't know it. It's the Wild Worm. You caught us on a bad day.
Oh, it's WWE.
You're going down.
You go down.
I allow you to live because you so ably dispatched my crew, but these orcs you see on this deck, these are warriors. These are the warriors that would have raided your ship. They are not as weak as the rest of my crew. I am glad they are dead.
Theren turns to Cass, nods at Aubrey, and then nods at Ruka. Go. I'll follow you last.
I'll nod to Burn,
Sort of stares at you, spits on the ground.
and then I'll wander off.
I stay there.
Beep, 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 beep,
You
beep.
can see the bouncers have moved forward a little bit more, and all the other orcs now seeing them move forward have all started to move forward slightly as well. So just push everyone forward just a little bit. Not those ones. The ones at the front. No, those ones are staying back.
These guys.
Yeah, exactly. They're definitely now not quite within 5 feet, but there is you can start to feel their breath, the anger in their just positions.
Mm-hmm.
Go, the captain shouts. Leave us be. I have a crew to discipline.
Theren turns to Cass, back to the ship.
do anything stupid.
Me?
Mm.
I'm the smart one.
Fuck off. You can see she turns around and Cass makes her way back.
Groovy. You're not moving.
I'm waiting till you move. Whatever you're about to do is really stupid.
I'm not about to do anything. I'm making sure everyone is safe first.
Yeah.
You can hear the voice from the tall orc beside you. Move, or we move you for you. In very broken English. Common, I should say.
Theren starts to step back
I walk in step.
until off the ship.
Alright.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, I fly.
So,
You walk, fly, do that.
the next minute, or 2-3 minutes, is a very awkward situation.
It's written still
Where-
red.
You push. Will
No,
Right,
no, pull,
very,
then push.
very similar. Yeah, effectively, the oars so badly damaged on this side of the ship have to be sort of transferred through and pushed out the other side. And you can see it's sort of, there are definitely spare oars, but then pushing the ship backwards, it quite quickly gets to the point where it's difficult to move it off. The orcs have to sort of move to the front and push and really unwedge manually by force using the sea. You can see one or two of them get crushed slightly as it moves beneath them, the captain shouting orders. Theren, I imagine you and Kasaki and Aubrey all stand like guard just in case they come
Yeah.
over. Right, fantastic. And one or two of them do peer over and I can see them eyeing you up. And there's definitely like a relay of information going from whoever's working at the front through to the back.
Can I turn into a black bear and push from our side as a kind of show of equal force?
You most certainly can, yeah. The bear approaches. Make a strength check.
As a
for me,
bear.
please, as a bear.
Come on,
Crap.
come on, do it.
This
do
is
it.
the kind of moment where I should have had bear up and ready.
Hey, druids, you've got to be ready for anything.
Ooh, that's... I'm not helping much.
Brrrr.
7 plus... buffering. Carry on.
Okay.
Might be double
You
figures.
you attempt, but you don't really do anything measurably
9.
sort of impressive.
Really?
It's only 15 strength for a bear.
Yep.
I thought you
Ah.
were
Black bear. It's kind of the weak
Hey, the wimpy bear, yeah, fair play.
weak ass bear.
The weakest
Monster
bear.
become a black.
Because I can't become a brown bear yet.
Oh, okay.
Not
That
yet.
makes sense.
You're not a moon druid.
No.
The fun druid. So, the boat eventually is sort of crunched backwards. You can see Sacha is just sort of looking at it going, oh dear, this is bad. Ugh, I hope they get lost. And you can see she's standing guard as well. Vincent and Odie, with whatever arrows they have left, are sort of guarding. Everybody's very tense until eventually the pirate ship gets sort of pushed through and the sweeps begin to push it backwards. Sacha, you can see sort of gesturing to the crew and muttering to them and sort of pulls you over, Aubrey. We have spare sail. Not much, but enough to get going. We can fix what we can, but it'll take time.
Sorry, I'm more than happy to help. Pick up the sail, fly up.
That's actually a really good idea. Fine, okay. And
Like a rollerblind.
so then she starts gesturing to the crew, and they bring out large amounts of spare canvas from the bottom of the deck, pulling it onto the front of the ship. The damage at the front, you can see already the crew are getting carpenter's equipment out, various planks of wood, nails, hammers, saws. There's work to be done. But eventually, the pirate ship begins to turn, and very slowly, methodically, sails, or rows, I guess, away. As it does, there's a moment where you can see the spellcaster. She comes, well, first mate Byrne, as she was referred to. She walks away to the back of the boat and stares at you. There's a moment, maybe about 100 feet away, where she sort of, you can see her sort of like just doing this, thinking about something. Odie and Vincent with the bows getting ready.
As she does that, Theren sort of charges up an Eldritch Blast, so just the force is visible in the blade.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
that happens. There's a moment where she thinks about casting that fireball and backs away and disappears. After 10, 15 minutes, the pirate ship begins to row further and further away, now half a kilometre between you, as such basically orders and barks orders quite frantically to the crew. Right, hoist this bit. Aubrey, we need you up there. Drasda, on your feet, you climb out, and between you start to install the sail as best you can. Maybe an hour or so later, if you want to do anything, just do interrupt. An hour or so later, once the canvas has been sort of hoisted as best it can, you can see the sail with the new canvas maybe at 2/3, and the broken canvas has all been taken down, assembled on the deck. It is now the process of sort of seeing what can be repaired and fixed is beginning. And some of the crew have surveyed the back of the ship, have deemed it to be still watertight, and luckily at the back of the ship rather than at the front. But
Yeah, that's true.
you can still sail. She turns to you. The damage is bad, but it's not critical. We can sail on this easily. With some time, we'll get the sails back up. We don't have any further supplies of sail. If we lose these sails, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But we should be all right.
Right.
Is the wind picking up again, or is it still dead?
There's a slight breeze, yeah.
Can you work with this, Sartre?
I can do my best.
Okay.
Cast off. Do what you can.
All right.
At this point, my flying has stopped.
Yeah,
just FYI.
fair enough. Okay, so for the rest of the
I've
afternoon...
fallen like down.
Theren,
Actually, do you mind just turning my camera off? Thank you very much, it was
Theren would like
so big a file.
to
Is it done? Yes.
find Drasda when she's gotten it and have a chat, if that's all right.
Drasda.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. As you can see, she's keeping very busy. Out of all of the crew definitely seem like they know what they're doing in terms of sort of fixing the ship and repairing it. But Drasda, between the use of Mage Hand, and she seems to also be able to use the mending cantrip of some kind, she's actually being very useful in terms of repairing the canvas. She can climb with ease, climbing up the masts and helping to install things with Aubrey, keeping very busy. And she sort of looks at you. Hi, Theren.
I wanted to see how you're doing. I saw you took a hit. Are you all right?
Yeah.
You performed brilliantly. Well done.
Thank you.
Go on, say it.
This is really dangerous.
Yes, but I know you can handle it.
Oh, okay.
Remember, if you're scared, if you're nervous, stay near me. I promise I will get you through this.
Okay.
Right. Sorry to disturb. Please go back to what you were doing.
I in the future could learn if you think it would help.
I think that is a brilliant plan. You have
Who's saying that?
you have wonderful instincts. Follow them.
Okay.
And burn them all. He just puts his hand on her shoulder for a second, nods.
Yeah. The soft fur sort of matting around it. She sort of like nuzzles in a
Aww.
little bit and then just sort of gets to work again, climbs very quickly up the mast and out of the way, almost
teenage
until and
cats,
helps to
yeah.
install. Over the course of the afternoon, then, the ship becomes sort of more and more into working order. The crew now beginning to attempt as best they can to repair the damage. The sails, over the course of the day, I would say with all the magic you've got, the sails are fairly easy to repair, so you do manage to get the sails back up to full health and sailing. The hull of the ship is a little bit different. It's more tricky to fix. You can fix it over time. The Unearthed Arcana rules, and I'm sure the Saltmarsh rules have changed all this completely, but I'm using the Unearthed Arcana rules because I've got those. The ship's hull will be fixed slowly over time, depending on how well the crew do at fixing. Does anybody have any proficiencies in tools that may be useful, such as masonry kits or carpenter's equipment or anything like that.
I am proficient in masonry tools.
You are!
Yes.
So you can actually help to fix the boat if you would like.
I would love to help.
Okay.
It's
So
been
what I
some
would-
years since I've used them.
What I will say is, at the end of the day, roll for me a strength check with proficiency.
Okay. So I'll be a plus... Oh no, so a strength check, so I'll be plus 7 to the roll. That is a 18.
18. Okay. Roll for me
Ooh,
1d6 plus your proficiency, so plus 3.
plus 3. That's an 8.
8 hit points back to the
Oh.
hull. It is hard work, but eventually you sort of, you're clawing through broken pieces of wood, taking sort of broken bits out. You're basically removing the really damaged section so that you can start to get to the repair.
Right.
As it is. As we set off. Now, the night shift begins. As the night falls, the wind starts to pick up. You can see Captain Sartre sort of grin on her face as she sort of pushes the wind round. I will, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'd rather stay on the helm. Make sure we get some distance. It's more important than my spells, I think, at this point. Agreed. So, it is Aubrey.
Yep.
D. Who's D again? Drazda. Aubrey, Drazda,
Aw.
Mirabelle, and Joseph. So, can all of those people make perception checks for me?
Does that mean people who are not those people get a long rest?
Not quite yet.
Perception, yeah?
Yeah.
Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20.
Nice.
Them goggles are
Oh,
goodies.
no one rolled below a 16. Okay. So for the rest of the evening, you... yeah. So much to think about.
My goggles in the crow's nest.
The rest of the evening, the falling star begins to pick up speed as the wind comes back towards the evening.
Nice.
By midnight, once the canvas has been erected back on deck, most of the debris has been swept away and people start to bed down. There is a decent breeze and the ship begins to pick up speed again as you make your way south. Captain Sartre will at some point make her way over to the three of you. I don't know where those pirates came from, but I would rather get out of the area. We can head back to Yibrit and pick up supplies, but I think if we can get the majority of this damage fixed, it depends on how important your cover story was. We never quite got to the bottom of who you thought was following you, but do you want to go back to Yibrit? Otherwise we'll just keep going.
No, we have to follow the plan.
Yes.
Alright. Fine. We'll get some rest and everybody's needed on shift for repairs and it's a busy ship.
Understood.
Aye. And she sort of goes back to the helm and you can see just pushing the wind round as she goes. You can see the storm sort of like slight static and her hair and clothes sort of whip around. She very, looks powerful, looks in her element right now. Whew. Nothing is seen for the rest of the evening. The stars out for the beginning portion of the night very quickly get covered over as cloud cover begins to come back over and the ship just ominously sails into the dark. You can see the lamps are erected at the front and back of the ship. And then the morning breaks. So anybody not... So Aubrey, you haven't had your long rest yet, and Drazda hasn't had her long rest yet, but everybody else has, unless you were doing something else.
Sweet.
Okay, wonderful. Before you do too much, however, make for me survival checks.
All of us? Or just those two?
Yeah, because we are on deck of the ship right now. Unless you're proficient in survival.
Oh yeah, I'm proficient, but I got 26 anyways.
11.
11?
I got a 15 total.
15. Aubrey, you will rest fine once you've had your sleep.
Cool.
Theren, you struggle to sleep. Between the damage to the deck, being on the open terrain, lying on the wood, your camping equipment is fine, but it's tough. You get your hit dice, half your hit dice back, you get your spells back, and your abilities, but you don't get your health.
Can I use my hit dice then?
Yes, you can.
Great.
Although you could just use a warlock spell slot beginning and then just short rest it later. That might work. Up to you.
How injured are you?
Half.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So a D10 and
Okay.
a D10.
So effectively you get 3 hit dice to use.
Oh, I didn't use any hit dice.
Okay,
anyway.
great. Well, you get 3 extra hit dice when you're still at full. Put it that way. So, the morning comes about on the 3rd day. You can see the clouds beginning to draw in now and the weather beginning to get windier and windier. The ship really picking up some speed as you head south. Brukar, Theren, Rockall, and Vincent. You're up.
What a team.
Me? Perception?
Perceptions?
Perception checks, please.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
Yeah, because you're on shift now. Oh, that was almost a 16.
8.
11.
8, 11.
I'm not rolling for anything.
Rockall gets 14.
Have you got Vincent?
I do. Vincent, save us.
Oh, you... What was
That's
that?
not going to count. I dropped it and it's a natural
Roll it
20.
properly. Goodness
Damn
me.
Oh, still good.
Waste of a natural 20. It is.
24.
24. Okay, between you, you don't spot any danger. You sail into the morning through the shift. Aubrey gets some sleep, as does Drazda, who's now had a long rest. Let's just check on survival for her, because she doesn't have that. Ooh, nope.
Oh,
But she was on full health anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So we healed her.
So she is fine.
Vincent.
Could I borrow a rubber, please? Yes, thank you. And Odie as well has had a long rest and less.
Okay. So she had does she have to?
Yeah, Odie is proficient in survival, I believe.
Yep, she is. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah,
she gets a
as
long rest.
Vincent.
As is Vincent. They are adventurers. They are
They're used to
prepared
this.
for slumming
Ha ha.
about.
Yeah, at this point I'm now going to start asking for us to start doing training in earnest.
Yeah, I haven't forgotten that actually. We'll get to that once we're done with this sort of
Groovy.
storyline. Actually, I'll get
20 episodes later.
20 episodes like, oh, make your checks now. Oh, they're
Oh,
all
I
natural
forgot. I forgot that Drazda made death saves. God, it was close. There you go. Well, just, taking a teenager with you. Eventually, once midday hits, Vincent's the first one to sort of notice that he pokes his head out. Oh dear, do you think that's a storm in the distance? It looks... God, we're having all sorts of weather at the moment, aren't we? Blimey, and Sacha sort of makes his way to the front of the boat.
Really testing me at this point, aren't you?
Yep, that's a storm. It's approaching from the south as well. We can't get around that one. We'd have to double back. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
I have any spells I can prepare.
As the charming saying goes, batten the hatches.
Aye. Storms aren't such a problem for the Falling Star. I can move the wind so that we're always going forward, but it's the speed. It gets unpleasant.
Are we sure that the storm won't damage the boat further? I'm just thinking of the back.
It's difficult to say.
Okay.
We'll do what we can.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to help with repairs for that.
Yeah, please continue to do what you're doing.
Of course.
Theren sort of raises his voice to the crew. Anyone that's not confident with their ability to hold their stomach or stay on their feet, stay around me.
The crew all sort of look around. We're quite used to this, but thank you.
We're talking to the passengers.
Right, and they move on. Drazda sort of is like clinging onto the mast a little bit, just like
Theren just holds his hand out for her.
she climbs up the mast.
You'll be safer down here.
I think she's fine.
I think she will be better with me.
She's a teenager. They do their own thing, as we've discovered.
He looks up. Remember, if you get scared, I am here.
She's just sort of not looking down.
If you do get scared, he is here.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Kasaki, we've got S for Sacha. So we've got Savian and we've got Odie.
Perception.
Is Brooker not doing any perceptions?
He did.
Brooker did the morning
He did?
shift. Yeah.
Oh, I did a morning shift.
So, Kasaki, can you do for me? Odie, can you do for
Oh,
me?
of course.
Savian and Sacha.
That
Sacha.
is a 13 for cast.
Sacha's going to make a Constitution saving throw. She fails.
Is she within 10 feet of me?
Not for the whole of the journey, no. She's busying herself around. For the purposes of this.
17.
I know where you're getting from. Sacha actually, unfortunately, gains a level of exhaustion.
Oh no.
She fails her first check. Not very tough, but that's fine. She's looking tired, effectively. Like, she's in need of a sleep. However, perception checks?
17 for
17?
Odie.
13.
13. It was a 4 and a 19. So, between you, you managed to sort of gauge where the thunderstorm's coming from the idea of sort of the first hour or so pushing the boat around. You managed to avoid maybe one of the sort of first frontiers of the clouds sort of coming in. The wind is really starting to push down, and by the late afternoon the rain starts to fall. It's a cold spring rain. It drenches everybody. People getting under the canvas, which is already being blustered around Sacha. It's like, I'm sorry, we're going to have to bring it down. Otherwise, it's going to fly off.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to half sail, and the crew sort of pull everything down into sort of minimum sail. Everyone gets a little bit wet. There's a couple of people who can stay in the cargo hold, but quickly you find by being in the cargo hold, the seasickness becomes a lot worse. Not being able to see where you are, the boat is really starting to... And with every hit onto the front of these waves, spray is blasting off the front of the boat and soaking people. The rain coming down, the salt water of the ocean. It is now very wet.
I'm just imagining Theren's only bit of hair, the ponytail, is just flapping furiously.
It's totally damp and matted to the back of your hair right now. It's like
gross.
almost gone down the back of your armour at some point. You're not sure when. There's water everywhere, like inside your armour. It's really unpleasant. The thunderstorm about sunset hits in earnest as there's the lightning starts to flash into the sky, the sea getting just incredibly violent, and the wind hits. It's like as the first gust, you can see Sarch just about catching it, throwing it onto the sails and pushing you forward. The ship is making fantastic speed. You're almost leaping over every other wave at this point as the boat then just crashes down. I would like every player character to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Alright.
Who's around me, just out of curiosity?
For the purposes of this, it is not so much combat as it is a long extended period. So you can get your save, but everyone's moving about and having to do it.
Yeah.
Everyone else just has to make the save. You get your bonus.
Cool.
So Drazd.
Not that you need it. Oh, for fuck.
Did you need it though?
Yeah.
Actually, before I do that, Sarcha is going to make a check to see how she sails the ship.
Why is it always my characters?
Even with disadvantage, I get to 17, so that's not too bad actually. Okay.
25 for Theren.
25. It's easier if you tell me if you get below a 13.
Oh, Cass has.
Cass has got lower than 13.
Yeah.
So is Drazda. Sarcha as well. So they've both failed. Brika?
I have failed.
Yeah, what about Odie and Vincent?
Odie got 12, so yeah, has failed.
Failed?
Yeah,
Vincent's
fine.
Okay. Everybody that fails gets a level of exhaustion.
cool.
As between the seasickness and the thickness of the boat, just it just like crashes down. There's no sleeping. There's no being able to get over this
There's
one.
holding on for dear life.
Yeah, exactly. There's no repairs able to be made on the ship today because of the sort of time, but you'll have a little bit more time to. As the ship is thrown about late into the night, it comes to the point where the night shift, they trying to make perception checks, but between the thick rain and the wind and the clouds, it begins to get very difficult to see more than like 50, 60 feet in front of the boat. It's like sailing into a constant fog of just water. So Aubrey, Drazda, Mirabelle, Joseph, all with disadvantage.
Do you have the rubber?
I do. I've got it.
Thank you very much.
Disadvantage perception.
Drazda is not helpful. The crew are not helpful. 10 is the highest.
4 for Aubrey.
4, no. You just sail blindly into danger, effectively. You don't know you don't know if anything's attacking you. But, blissfully, nothing happens in the night. It is just a horrible, horrible journey. Sacha is going to make another check to see how she steers the ship. As morning rises, the light, after a long night of being awake, you see the sunrise start to just appear, not because you can see it, but because the grey lights up in front of you. There's the storm still crashing around you. She doesn't make as good a check that time, so everybody make Constitution saving throw for me for the morning. As the thunderstorm rumbles
I'm
on.
guessing exhaustion, that's a disadvantage on that.
Those are only skill checks for you.
Skill check on the first one. Exhaustion, and then it's
But it's Constitution saving throw then.
David and I are very familiar with exhaustion.
Thanks.
Sake.
Yeah. And let me know if you beat a 15.
Yeah, Theren casts fine.
Same for Aubrey and Odie.
Yeah, Drasda fails. Sacha fails. So these guys are pretty knackered right now.
Brooker and Vincent fail.
Brooke and Vincent each with a level of exhaustion.
Jesus.
I think at this point Theren's the only one looking sprightly.
No, Aubrey too.
Oh, has she not failed one yet?
Yeah, the tougher members of the party are doing better. Even the crew look tired now. Between the repairs and having to sort of fledge off the storm effectively, they are looking absolutely knackered. But as the sun rises on the fourth day, through the day as well, by midday the storm begins to abate. It's still a thick wind, but the rain stops. And the worst of it is over as the falling star. The sails are hoisted and it pushes on. Sacha by this point just looks knackered and goes, I'm gonna wait until the wind goes.
We can sort it.
One more shift. Once the wind's died, I'll go down. You can see she's knackered but like stoic in this.
Yeah. Let's not argue with her.
Alright. As night falls and she drifts to bed, can Aubrey...
That doesn't help.
Actually, no, we've skipped one, haven't we? So Bruka's lot, you didn't make it because there's just no point at that point.
Right.
Afternoon was Kasaki. Sacha.
Odie.
Sacha's not going to even try because she's knackered. Savian and Odie.
Odie.
Savian doesn't see a thing.
Odie gets a 9 total.
Yep.
14 for
14.
Cass.
And Odie got 9.
9. Okay,
Sorry.
great. 14's the highest. Again, you don't see anything over the course of the day. There is the occasional island sort of springs into view on your west side, but as you sort of move further and further south, making ground as night falls, Sacha just sort of collapsing into bed. There is just peace. As the crew take over, you can see them sailing the ship by themselves. It's a little bit more uncomfortable because they're having to actually sail the ship without Sacha pushing the wind around, but it's still, they are capable in what they do. So, the night shift apart, everybody can attempt to make a long rest. So again, a survival check for me, please. The DC is at 14.
Survival people
If you're
don't.
proficient, then you immediately get one level of exhaustion back.
Theren is fine. So does that mean I get the 3 hit dice I use back as well?
Yeah, you do.
Sweet.
So,
Cass is proficient, so...
Aubrey's fine.
Drasda is not so fine. Sacha,
So Odie's
natural 1 is not so fine.
No.
Okay. So,
That's it.
can Aubrey, Drasda,
Yep.
Mirabelle and Joseph all make perception checks for me?
You've got Aubrey is a 14 total, and then Drasda is it was older than you. I think.
Yeah, the
For
rest
some reason,
of
I thought you had Drasda.
Yeah, I was confused there for a second as
That's
well.
not bad.
Okay, what's it?
14 for Aubrey.
Aubrey.
Not
Aubrey.
That's
For Aubrey?
that would
we
be a
put together.
combination.
That's pretty good. Nobody else beats you. So, you don't spot anything again in the night. Everybody's sort of consuming rations as you go. Oh no, because you've got good berry going, so everybody's sort of fulfilled on food.
Yeah.
You're doing well. Generally speaking, it's a horrible journey, but the weather is now settling more into sort of a natural sailing experience as you are used to. What are you doing with that?
That's the second time.
It's because you're not using the ridges. You've got your sheets.
Because
in the way.
I've got
She's got
sheets.
so many sheep.
I see.
I can already see that's going to go. So I'm just
So-
gonna... Sorry.
What's happening?
In the morning,
Oh,
Aubrey,
that's-
Dradster, and the crew can have a go at having a long rest.
I'm alright.
Actually, the crew do all right. They get one of us. They're only on 1 level of exhaustion now. So, Aubrey, you had the night. Make a strength check with proficiency. See if you can do any repairs to the boat.
Sorry, yeah. Does that mean Caswolf had a long rest as well?
Yes.
Great, cool. Who's got the rubber?
Rubber's
He's
good
fine.
one. So strength check plus proficiency.
Yeah.
So that's a 7.
Okay.
Again. Oh, it's a 25.
25.
It's bonus
okay.
now mine.
Roll me 2d6 plus proficiency. That's such a good roll.
Ow. Ooh. Okay, that's an 8 plus 3, which is 11.
11. Okay.
I'm
So you
writing
spend
my
some
own
time
name to the
fixing
boat.
what you can. Yeah. You don't think you're going to be able to fix the ship entirely without it being in dry dock, but
No,
you're
but
certainly
enough to.
patching any holes, retarring elements, and doing
Exactly.
as best you can. Okay, fantastic.
I'll just-
As the morning
One big
rises
one.
on the 5th day of sailing, Bruca, Theren, Rockall, Vincent, perception checks, please. If you want to be doing anything, you must just say. Otherwise, we're just pressing on.
No.
Brooker has just been grinning this entire horrendous elemental time.
Yeah.
Stood there, hands on hips.
Alpha,
Yeah, as he feels more and more sick.
Yeah.
8.
19.
19. Okay. The crew can't beat that. Vincent,
That's him.
I got 8.
8.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
well, that's
roll
very clear.
Vincent as well.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Is that right?
Remember your exhaustion, if everybody is.
Oh, yeah.
No,
well,
he would have
yeah,
rested,
yeah.
so he should be fine.
Alright, fine.
Yeah, he's got proficiency.
Yeah, Vincent rested. That was perception, so
Okay.
19. Rather.
Nice.
Perfect. The weather is starting to clear now. It's huge, puffy white clouds moving at a fast pace. It's still cold. Everybody's still drenched. All your belongings are wet still. But everybody's settled down into the journey now. You reckon you were only a day's worth of travel away from Zelidia at this point? Just have a check and see if you've seen anything. No, there's not many islands actually between where you are and Zelidia, so...
Thank God.
Yeah, you're just making the ground up. It's just ocean everywhere you see. It's a very strange sight to people who haven't really sailed too much. Brucites, for you, there's a huge sense of natural environment, but it's very bleak and it's not your style of natural environment. Put it that way. It's
It's a sea, not wood.
Still better than you.
it's much better than your break. You feel with every passing day, you feel more alive. You feel like more of your sense and more of your power is coming back. It's very refreshing, if just not as exotically different as you would like.
Considering that she has been in prison for most of the time,
Yes.
Theren is going to check in on Cass and see how she's doing.
Yeah. She probably is busying herself, sort of helping the crew to take sails in and sort of moving things about, and sort of nods as you approach.
You were locked up for a while. Are you doing all right?
This is a far sight better than being locked up. I'm very grateful to be out.
Well, yes, I just imagine that the sudden change from prison cell to a horrible storm is somewhat disheveling, I suppose.
Well, our training was for this very purpose.
Right. You know you can be honest sometimes.
I am honest. I'm absolutely fine. How about you? You're the one that seems to be struggling more than me.
What do you mean?
Well, you look knackered. I look fine.
I actually look sprightly as fuck.
That's what she's saying.
Why are you whispering?
I'll leave you to it.
Good day.
And you.
She sort of awkwardly goes back to what she was doing.
You look weak.
Yeah, you look weak. Doesn't she look tired? What? I remember that too. Episode.
Okay. The afternoon shift. Kasaki. We shall have who's this? Kasaki, Sacha, Savia, and Odi. Sacha gets back, and as she's taken the helm and is basically sailing a ship, she's not going to bother, but Savian will.
11 for Cass.
11.
Unnatural 20 for Odie.
Unnatural 20. Alright.
I say, I see ships.
I see ships, I see them with my eyes.
Okay.
I've
Fine.
had
The ship sails through the day. The clouds very high overhead, sort of mixtures of those sort of cirrus clouds in the tops of the atmosphere, and the bigger, puffier clouds that are again moving at different speeds but very fast. It's very surreal, moving in totally the different direction to which the wind is pushing the boat. It seems like whatever direction the wind is blowing, it is always blowing the way that Sacha wants it to, as long as she's at the helm of the ship. Odie is sort of spending some time. She spent a long time with Vincent chatting and exploring and saying, "Oh my goodness, wouldn't it be great if we were on a bigger boat again? Athena was so much nicer."
It was.
Do you remember our little ridiculous little boat? I was so tiny.
Oh, the unicorn, yeah.
Oh, it's glorious, but my goodness, it was not fit for purpose.
Yeah.
She sort of sighs and sort of puts her elbows up and is sort of staring into the sky.
Oh no.
You know, I just never would have expected we would have seen sea eagles this far out into sea. It's remarkable, isn't it?
Seagulls?
Sea eagles.
Sea eagles?
She sort of pokes over to you, Aubrey. I imagine you're sort of a surface
I'm
by now.
I'm finishing off like a piece of wood. What?
Yeah, exactly. No, sea eagles.
Sea eagles?
What do you think I said?
Seagulls.
That's totally different.
How are they different?
Well, one is seagull and one is sea eagle.
Where? Point. I can't see them.
There.
Do I see any sea eagles?
And you can see there's just from a distance, high into the sky, like a sort of bird of prey, like gliding in the sky, just very, very high up.
And it definitely looks like a bird.
Make a perception check.
8. Yes.
Yeah,
Cool.
looks like a bird.
I've never seen sea eagles before. Don't really have them around Hartley.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful.
Do you think that means that there's land nearby?
Maybe.
Oh.
Well, we should be approaching Lydia soon.
Oh,
Within half a day or so.
Oh, maybe we should tell Sartre we've seen sea eagles.
Oh, she looks like she's got enough on her plate. She knows where we're going.
Okay. Oh, sea eagles.
That's fine.
I don't know. It's a bit rare. Okay.
About an hour passes. And just Odie, just offhand, has been staring at this bird, just totally fixated by it for some time. I think it's circling us, you know. It's ridiculous.
What, the sea eagles?
Yeah. No, the sea eagle.
Oh, okay.
This is not difficult, Aubrey.
I'm busy fixing
Goodness.
the boat. you seem to just be talking to yourself. Like,
Well, I'm sorry, I'm keeping watch.
off sea eagles. Or sea eagle is circling.
Yes. And at this point, it passes in front of the sun. And the shadow falls over the boat.
Odie.
You all notice it now that Odie's brought it up. You're listening to this conversation as the shadow
Sea eagle one. I swear to Theren.
that passes over the boat spans hundreds of yards either side. It is a large shadow, like a huge cloud covers the boat and then disappears.
Odie, how good
Yes?
are you at your wildlife? Are sea eagles really big?
No.
No?
Oh,
Not hundreds of yards across?
not that big. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never seen them before.
Cool.
Master Brooker, what is that?
Can I see if I identify?
Make an edge check, yeah?
With disadvantage because I've got one level of exhaustion.
Yeah, can I also make a check just in case?
Yeah, you can.
Nature, you say?
Yeah.
Nature.
Ooh!
He's going to be better
That's
by
no
the sound of things. 11.
21.
That's
Are
no
you
sea
proficient
eagle.
in nature checks?
No.
No. You're a bit distracted. There's
I'm still
lots
a bit-
of different birds of prey. It could be anything right now. Your mind is thinking like, well, I don't know.
Pleasantly knackered.
Is it this sort of eagle? I don't know what sort of eagle it is. Theren, you're just like, you're convinced that's no eagle. That's no eagle.
That's no moon.
That's a space station.
That's no sea eagle.
Alright, Theren goes, Odie, that is not an eagle.
I think we gathered that.
No, I think he's right, actually. No, he's really right. We should be worried. That's big.
Theren just kind of points his sword up and yells loud enough for the screw here. Does anyone know what that is?
You can see people sort of looking up. I'll make a couple of checks.
Oh no. Is it a rockle?
Nope,
The rockle
nobody
goes-
knows. Like, they're sort of looking up. It's and the crew sort of. Should we be worried?
Yes.
At this point, Bagclaw is doing the familiar glow as Theren prepares Eldritch
How
Blast.
far are we away from any land, Sarcher?
Miles.
Christ. Okay.
We're Zelidia is now the closest island, and we are probably 80 miles.
How quick can you get us there?
Half a day.
Any quicker?
I'll try.
Let us know if we can help. We need to get out of here as quick as possible.
I
It's that
can-
big.
Potentially bring it down to our level.
Do we want it down to our level, whatever this is?
Well, if we get it down to our level, more people will be able to hit it.
More people will be more likely to die if it's a huge creature that will just possibly eat the ship.
Depends how it will attack. I suppose if it's doing a
If
flyby.
it swoops,
It's circling.
pick up one by one. Everyone stay alert. If you have anything ranged, train it on that, and do not move your gaze.
Cool.
If it's coming, I will drag it down to the sea. Yeah, I can't drown it, but it will hit the water, and that may.
I might. Yeah,
put
that's
it
fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Worth a try.
So, over the next half an hour or so, this eagle circles the boat. It's remarkable that Odie spotted it in the first place. And actually, had you not realised that this, she would be looking at this, maybe you would have thought it was a cloud passing over the boat. Really, it was a remarkably good perception check from her as this thing circles and circles and circles. And then sort of starts to fly away for about 5 minutes. And then turns back behind the boat. And looks like it's getting lower and lower.
Brace yourselves, it looks like it's about to swoop.
Right. Satcha, where would you want us?
Theren stands on the far back of the ship. Anyone that can hit it if it gets close enough by me. Anyone that can use range to stay behind it, stay in some sort of cover so it can't get you.
What do we do about the sails? If it takes the sails out, we're fucked.
Then we're going to have to hit it with everything we got and try and dissuade it.
Or drop the sails.
That's what I was more thinking.
Yes, I think that's such a... We're committed to
Drop
fighting
the
this
sails.
thing. Such as that. We're committed to fighting this thing. If we drop the sails, but I can. Are we doing it?
Let's do it.
Right. Down, crew, quick! And then she sort of gets the crew down and they start to lower the sails as rapidly as they can and pack them away. As this eagle gets closer and closer. And you can see...
I'm 120 feet.
Yeah.
Imagine if the sort of the boat sort of is here, it's sort of like doing this, and then it starts to drop.
Oh, diving.
And very quickly, the thing that you find is that it is an optical illusion. It is disconcerting because this is big. You would estimate that wingspan. I'm just going to check this because I don't want to give you the wrong thing.
You've got it. You've got us.
The wingspan is hundreds of feet. Each wing is probably 180 to 200 feet long. It is a large, and now it gets closer, brilliant red and blue plumage, purple as it stretches up, a huge bird, and it begins to dive bomb at remarkable speed. It is a rock.
Jesus
I'm going to take a
Christ.
break and set this up because this is going to be fun. When I rolled this on the random table, I was like, ha ha! We shall see you in a second. Bye bye.
I don't know what a rock is.
It's huge.
Well, I better get started then.
Rewind.
There
And
we
begin.
go.
There we go.
So,
Recent
let's
incident.
get started.
What was that glitch?
Rock. I'm going to tell you what it is because it's glorious. The rock begins to descend. I would like everybody to roll initiative for me,
I'm
please.
just thinking Dwayne the Johnson just going, whoa!
I like it.
Ooh, sugar plums.
Oh yeah, shit, I've got stuff to be doing as well. But just for the sake of this, the crew are all hiding below deck.
They've,
Yeah.
they've noped out a sea
They are
eagles.
noped. Yeah, exactly. Right, so Sarcha actually has disadvantage on it. Oh yes, she has a 3. Drazda has 19. 19 for Draz. Okay, great. So let's go round. Fiona, what have you got?
So for Aubrey, she got 17.
17 for
And
Aubrey.
for Odie, she got an unnatural 20. She's rather good at
Unnatural
this sort of
20.
thing.
All right. What about you, Sam?
So Vincent got 19
Vincent got
Not too bad.
19.
and Bruca got 6.
Bruca got
Are you
6.
sure it's
And David?
Cass got a 19.
19.
Aaron got 3.
Sorry.
Okay, so there's loads of you, but you've all got very similar initiatives. It's
Brooker and Theren right at the
crazy.
end.
Yeah, there you go. So, the rock. It starts to swoop down with a dash and with a movement. It moves 240 feet in a turn. As it bombs. It ends its turn
Where is it?
180 feet away from the
Okay.
boat, coming down from behind,
It's coming.
effectively. Now, to put it in context, the boat you've got there is 5 feet squares, right?
Yep.
The rock would span about 250 feet in wingspan. As it begins to come down, you're looking at it and thinking, this thing, oh shit, it's big. It is absolutely massive. It is now 180 feet away. Odie, what does she want to do? I'm going to give full control of the characters this time
Oh, excellent.
to you guys, because I just want to
don't know anything
focus
about
on
magic.
the rock.
Oh, that's sort of absolute unit. Okay. I think she would hold her. This is the thing, because we didn't really discuss it. How many arrows does she have left? Because we were having this discussion about her.
She had none.
She had none.
She will have divided whatever Vincent had
He's
left
so whipped.
in half.
That's what I want. That's what I'm saying. What would it?
Vincent didn't have any left.
I think I used the last stuff. For.
You have no arrows left.
Good to know.
But Bruca has 8 longbow.
Are they longbow arrows? All right. Now, how many would you have given out?
It's up to you. There'll be. Yeah.
He would have given them to Vincent and Odie and said, "Big monster so far, you want to share them."
All right.
You're
Okay,
both
fine.
very adept.
That's very kind of you.
So in that case, Odie would have
Oh.
taken 4. Vincent would have taken 4.
Super.
All right. So mark those down. This is all very important. As
That's why I wanted
soon
to
as we're
check.
going to sea travel, projectiles and ammunition and things becomes really important. So when I was asking what sort of things do you want to buy, if you'd gone 300 arrows stored below deck, I would have gone, brilliant.
But
That's fantastic.
we're not controlling. We're not controlling.
Exactly. So,
Cool. So it's
Odie up first.
all right. I will then hold my action to shoot both attacks at it when it comes in range.
Okay, fair enough. Drazda. So, remind me what exhaustion does. Second level of exhaustion is attack
Saving
rolls.
throws,
Is
isn't
it
it?
saving throws or attack
I think
rolls?
it's attack. I think I thought it was everything.
It's halves your speed.
Half your speed.
Yes, Sam's got it.
Okay, so speed. So Drazda is ability checks are halved and speed is halved. Saving throws is third, or attack rolls is third.
Third is disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws.
Right, fine.
So
So that's
third
what
is
She's
the
okay.
real-
Yeah,
So
she's okay. for
Sarcha is third level exhaustion.
Ooh,
Ah.
no.
Drazda is second, the crew is first. Just so you know.
Good to know.
So, Drazda is going to climb up the mast. About sort of 50 feet. Well, no, she actually can't even. She would be there. She'd be about 50 feet into the sky, and she is going to hold a firebolt for the same thing. Kasaki.
Cass is going to hold a melee action for when it gets within range.
Okay, fantastic. Nice and easy. Vincent.
Vincent.
That's you.
How many arrows does he have?
4.
Okay. He will. This is tricky. Yeah, he will hold his shot until it's within range.
Okay.
I feel it's
Probably
good.
fire at the same time as all.
So, yeah,
all
both
fine.
of you are technically in range. So, are you holding
Okay.
until
So
short
it's close. I
range?
think it's it's all
normal
short range.
range.
Yeah.
Not disadvantage range.
That's
That's that.
fine.
We're waiting till it gets closer.
Which
Aubrey.
they are in, actually.
Now, I've got my cloak back.
Mm-hmm.
So
Your
I-
cloak is back.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm going to action the cloak.
Okay, fantastic. You moving anywhere or staying there?
Stay there.
Okie dokie, so you've actioned your cloak.
Cloak, yep.
Bruca. This thing is 180 feet away.
Okay.
For reference, the boat at the moment is still sailing. Oh, actually, no, it would be pretty dead in the water because its sails have come down. So,
Yeah.
it's not moving.
So, first I'm going to mark off a good berry this morning, and then I am going to hold a Earthbind spell
Okay.
to when it's within 120 feet. And what this does, he'll have to make, or it will have to make a strength saving throw. But could I do it so when it kind of gets with 120 feet, I then release it?
Yep, you can hold a spell until it sort of comes
What
close.
does Earthbind do? I don't.
So,
Sorry.
well, I don't want to jinx it because if I say it, it
No,
won't.
but I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So.
So yellow, but for reskinning, let's say smoky, strips of magical energy loop around the creature. The target must succeed on, this might be Xanathar's, must succeed on a strength saving throw, or its flying speed, if any, is reduced to 0 feet for the spell's duration. An airborne creature affected by the spell safely descends at 60 feet per round until it reaches the ground, or the spell ends.
And how long does it last for?
A minute.
And it's concentration, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to read that as well, just because I think it's going to be quite important
Yeah.
in a second.
I can read you mine.
Doesn't
Either or.
specify
Great,
size
thank
of the creature on Beyond.
Oh no, my wing's fine. You can use one of the markers I gave you to indicate.
Okay, no, that's
Concentration.
fair enough. That is absolutely fair. So,
No, it'd be good to use them actually.
wonderful. So you hold the spell. Sarcha is going to hold a... What's she going to hold?
She's not very well.
Oh, yeah, and she knows that, so she's going to hold a magic missile
Yeah,
Smart. Very
Very
smart.
smart.
because that one doesn't have to roll. Theren.
Hold Eldritch Blast for when it gets within 120 feet.
Okay.
I think just
fantastic.
use whatever, Sam.
The rock on its turn, dashing, flies overhead, coming into range. So it
Everything's
will...
going to go off.
So I'll tell you what it's going to do. It's going to fly over the top of you, and at dash speed is going to ram into the front of the boat.
Oh no!
So if you put it over towards the front there. So imagine its wings are like almost across the table right now. It is huge as it just boof, descends onto the boat. So everybody gets your actions.
Cool.
So make your attacks. Its AC is 15.
Would I have been able to release my spell as it was flying over the water towards us? Or is it because
Yes, you can. I will let that
Should we
happen as
do
it
that?
gets in range.
We'll do
So
that first. Then.
that is important. So
'Cause
what have I got to do?
strength saving throw?
Strength saving throw. That is a 23.
Ah! Nope.
Okay.
That's a nice idea.
The magic goes out, and you watch as these tendrils wrap around it. But even as it's forming, just the huge beats of its wings just dispel the magic before it can even form.
Bear it.
You get a sense that this thing is quite strong.
I thought it might be.
That was a good idea. I liked it.
Okay, so it's going to... Right, so roll your attacks.
Yeah.
What's the...
A 15.
Oh, cool.
AC 15, yeah. So,
that would have been good.
Sarcha, roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points of damage on the magic missile. Drazda rolls for firebolt and misses.
Both hits from Eldritch Blast, 15 points of damage in total.
15 total. Wow, you rolled well. Okay.
Only one attack from only it hits, and it's 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage, and there's no other target that she can hit, so there's nothing else.
Yeah.
What about Vincent?
He... Oh no, that's not good. That
15.
is 12 to hit.
Nah.
12 to hit. No, it doesn't hit. So most of the attacks just sort of whiz out, and it's moving so quick that nothing can quite hit it. You watch as the magic missile, one of Odie's attacks and the Eldritch Blast all hit the chest of this creature, but just a blasting off it. The sheer size of this creature almost giving the impression that nothing is felt as it slams down straight barreling into the front of the boat. Everybody on the boat, which is all of you except Aubrey, who is currently flying, can everybody make a strength saving throw for me, please?
You're within 10 feet of me.
Yeah, if you're within 10 feet
You
of
get
Theren,
+4.
you get +4. So, Drazda is not.
Oh, yeah.
Drazda fails. Sarcha is within 10 feet.
What's
That
the DC?
Still fails.
Well,
Well, let me know what you've got.
Oh, Theren's failed. He's got 7 and Cass has got 11.
Okay.
what was the thing to add?
Plus 4, but you're...
No, it's Odie.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Odie's back there. Never mind. Ignore me.
Brooker got 18.
18.
Vincent got...
Vincent's at the back, though, isn't he?
Oh,
Oh, no, it's
okay.
everyone. Sorry, I'm being an idiot. Yeah, everyone.
Vincent
That's fine.
got...
13 for Odie.
13.
4.
Okay.
No!
So to give you an impression, okay, the DC was 19. This
Oh,
thing slams it
bums.
with strength 28 force.
Whoa!
The whole of the front of the boat just descends as you are kicked upwards. Everybody is knocked prone on the boat. Everybody will take 2 points of damage.
Oh.
Drazda will fall from the mast and take another 5 points of damage. Because, I mean, she's a cat. She's going to climb, you know?
Oh, but does she land on her feet, though? No, I guess not.
Unfortunately not quite cat-like. Aubrey is absolutely fine. And as the boat rights itself at dexterity, initiative count 20, actually technically Odie would get her turn first because her initiative was pretty good.
But she's fallen over. Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, she's not prone at the moment.
Sorry. That's such a stupid thing to say. Okay, she'll Hunter's Mark it.
Okay, on the floor, she hunters marks it.
I say. And then she will use her last 2 actions to shoot at it. I'm guessing, wait.
Can I get up?
Yeah, she'll get up, but...
Okay.
Is
Well,
it,
move her up, so half her movement to get up.
and then she'll move some movement to get back then. So it'll be, sorry, it's 15, so 5, 10,
15.
Yeah, she'll move.
As she moves,
Of course.
there is as the claws come out, and it will attempt. Actually, no, the beak is the higher reach, so the beak is going to be the one attacked. It just whips its head round, and you see its face, its eye, bigger than some of the smaller sails on the boat. This thing is just enormous in size. The beak goes to strike Odie. It is 26 to hit.
Yes.
That'll hit.
I will hit.
Okay.
She rages, though.
Does she now?
Terrible.
I don't have enough. Right. That's
What do you
gonna
mean
be,
you don't have enough?
26 piercing damage from this beak as it grabs across her, and she just barely gets out of its grip. You can see just how almost her armor and clothes almost ripped off her in one go. A huge sort of scrape as she barrels to the floor and rolls away, but she still has the rest of her turn.
Great. Good. Right, yeah, and so she'll roll her last 2 arrows.
Do it.
Only one of them will hit. That's 16 to hit.
16 hits, yep, with the hunter's mark.
Yes. So that is...
Oh, actually, make a constitution saving throw for her. DC 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Constitution.
She
That's
passes, so
13.
she's still got hunter's mark.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so that is... it's 11 plus 5 is 16 damage total.
16 damage total. God, Odie. Star performer. Have you got a concentration marker for Odie? Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's what we say, yeah.
Okie dokie. At initiative count 20, the boat rights itself as it's pushed back into the water. You can see the rock sort of lets it go. And as it kicks back, everybody that's lying on the boat starts to roll towards the back as it's literally lifted up. Can you all make dexterity saving throws for me, please?
Can't find a specific one.
Just pick one. It doesn't
The
matter.
one with chains, because she's... Where is she?
She's there. Currently up, currently. No, it's not me. It's her, yeah.
So Drazda passes. Sarcha
What's the DC?
fails. DC 15.
Theren passes, Cass fails.
Okay. Cass fails.
Brooker and Vincent both fail.
Okay, fine.
Are you adding
So,
+4?
if you fail, you are pushed 15 feet backwards on the boat.
Oh, that's 7.
You're alright.
Sam's forgotten numbers.
Yeah, no, still fell.
Okay, you both fell. Have you given yourself a +4 because of Theren?
Yeah, that's what it was just saying.
Yep, good. Wonderful. So everybody that's on the boat will move 15 feet towards me. If you move off the boat, you fall off the boat. As literally, the boat is righted and you are tipped. You hit the side of it and go crashing into the sea. So the boat's not moving.
Theren's
I should say.
Theren's gone.
Oh,
Theren's
sorry, where am I?
Theren's fine. So yeah, and Kasaki's gone, and I think Sacha is just fine. She's gone 15 feet back.
Fine.
Yeah. So Drazda and the others as well. They're all 15 feet towards me. Wonderful. And is that Vincent? Yeah. Odie's fine. Odie's
Yeah, I was
stood
gonna
up.
say, Odie stood up, yeah.
She stood up. So her initiative roll was enough to sort of like fight this. Drazda is going to get up on her turn, and she's going to look at you panicked, Theren. Just absolutely panicked.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll be fine.
She's going to. She's going to try something unique. She looks at Aubrey
Hello?
and goes, "Oh."
What are you doing?
And Aubrey, you feel yourself grow.
Yes!
Suddenly, you are pushed up. I think the enlarge spell pushes you to double your size. I might be wrong on that. So now Aubrey is 15 feet in size. Let me just double check this.
Some changes, everything.
Enlarge, reduce, enlarge. The target size doubles in all dimensions and its weight is multiplied by 8. You are now a large creature. Until the spell ends, you have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. The target's weapons also grow to match your size and they deal an extra 1d4 damage.
Good to know.
Okay. Wonderful. So that's what she does on her turn. Kasaki's turn. She is in the sea right
she
now.
is.
What's she going to do?
Can she grab onto the side of the ship? No. She's going to try and grab Bruker with one hand and grab the ship with the other.
Okay. So make an athletics check for me. She spends her action trying to grab onto Brooker and sort of pulling him to the surface.
Come on, badass lady. No!
11.
11. It's enough to sort of help Brooker up, so Brooker will have advantage on any check, but she doesn't have enough capacity to then pull herself onto the boat with it. It's she spends her turn effectively pulling up. You score on movement, but the problem is it's sort of like wood. If you can imagine,
Yes.
the boat sort of comes up to about 15 feet above her as it's still rocking backwards and forwards. She's sort of treading water. Her armour's heavy as well. She's having to actively fight against this metal splint mail.
And she's just going to, with Bruker in hand, kind of get them both as close to the boat as possible.
Okay, fantastic. It is now Vincent's turn.
Do I not get a turn? Sorry. I'm sorry.
You're
Do
doing
I
your-
not get a
I'm
turn?
17.
You're soon. Yeah, Vincent's 19.
Oh. I was getting really excited. Sorry.
Okay. So, sorry, could you remind me which one's Vincent? Okay.
Where's the club?
Okay, he gets up half his movement.
Yeah, half his movement.
And then, can he get behind the mast?
You can certainly try. Yeah, moves
In
the
that
sort of
time.
way back. Hides
Uh,
behind the mast.
Bonus action to hide.
Okay, yeah, roll
Go on,
for
do
a
it.
stealth check.
No.
What's
wrong with that dice?
1.
Jeez.
1. Well, no, but he's still got... What's his proficiency? Because he's good at stealth.
It's still a natural one.
Natural
though.
1 doesn't apply to ability checks.
Oh, does it not?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Oh,
It just normally means you fail.
Yeah. Okay.
11.
11. Okay.
God, he's
He tries to hide.
And then he's going to fire off a longbow shot.
Okay. Roll it with just a regular attack.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's gained you any benefit.
That is 21.
Hits.
Nice.
Okay, roll to attack. That would be a D. That is 7 piercing damage.
7 piercing damage. Okay.
Let's say he had...
Right, so that's his first shot. AD's out of shots. Vincent's now got 3, I think.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anything he wants to do? He'll stay there.
that's his turn.
Okay, Aubrey.
Hooray. It is I. I will fly at speed and rage.
Okay, you can see the lightning crackles as giant Aubrey flies. I imagine straight towards it.
Not away from the boat. No, yeah. Straight towards it.
Okay, straight towards the rock.
And yeah, recklessly attack. Great Weapon Master. Solid. We'll go all out on it.
Okay, roll those attacks.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have advantage because of reckless.
That's a plus 3 to hit. That is a 16 to hit on the first one.
Does hit, yeah.
And the second attack is... Oh, that's a 7 on the second.
No, unfortunately not. The first attack connects, however. So you get your d4, remember?
Yep, got it. So it's... Okay, that is 11 plus 5 plus 2 is 18 plus force is 22 slashing damage.
Plus 10 for Great Weapon Master.
32.
32 damage. Alright, fine.
Thank you.
You just go in and you sink your axe as far into the flank of this creature as you can. There's a screech from it, echoing to sea and like sort of echoing through the boat, but it doesn't pull away from it at all.
Nope.
As your axe comes in, you take a second strike, but its movement is so large, just a small movement of its limb means that its entire side comes like 10 feet away from
Slowed
you.
down.
Yeah, exactly. And it's no longer in range. You're staying there?
Yeah, I want to be as close as I can to it.
Okay, dexterity saving throw as well?
Sure.
From this thing?
Oh no, because I used Great Weapon Master. Oh no, I raged.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot.
24. Yeah.
It's 3 lightning damage. As
So
well.
1.
No.
No,
it
it
was
was
6.
six.
So.
Okay, fantastic.
For once.
Great. Bruka. You are sort of dragged to the surface by Kasaki. You can feel her trying to pull you to the surface. Yeah, the saltiness in your eyes. You're just like, oh God, what's happened?
Will it be my entire turn to get within sight of this thing? Or can I see it now?
Oh, you can see it. It's massive. Its wings are either side of the boat. This thing is bigger than the boat. Even from your position, you can see it and flap it. You probably can only attack it, target its sides, the tips of its wings, from where you are, but you could swim to the side.
I'm going to cast Polymorph.
Okay. You're going to cast Polymorph. What have I got to do?
So, can you make a Wisdom saving throw to beat 15?
Wisdom saving throw to beat 15.
Come on.
That is a 7.
Yes. Okay. So Brooker, reaching on, hand on Cass, just puffs this sees this wet kind
Seaweed.
of cigaretto kind of stuff and just throws it at it, and it kind of turns in smoke midair, hits his wings, and as Brooker shouts, "Don't hurt it!" it drops to the ground, morphing into a small crab.
A small crab.
Wow.
Okay. Now, I want to be fair, DM. This creature is so big, its body is probably about 40, 50 feet above the boat. There's going to be a little bit of a drop as whatever this
I
creature
thought
is
it landed.
No,
hits the boat.
it shrinks.
No, it'll
in.
just go.
It goes into its centre of mass.
Can I
effectively.
retcon that into...
Bigger creature.
Why are we asked about this thing dying?
No, because if it hits.
Right,
down,
hey,
it just-
hey.
No.
No,
okay.
we don't.
No. You're right.
a sugar plums.
We
That
don't.
changes my whole plan.
We don't.
What are you doing?
Can I say? Damn.
Think of any creature.
Okay, just a blackbird.
A blackbird.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
There we go.
So the blackbird shrinks in.
Something like that. I'll find the stats.
Yeah.
Perfect. The blackbird has a flight speed, so it doesn't drop. It just flaps away about 30 feet into the sky, just sort of looking around. Desperately sort of looking around, very confused by what's just happened. Sarcha, she is going to get up, sort of lean over the side of the boat, look at Kasaki and Bruka in the water, and she's going to shout, "Are you okay? Do you need a hand?" And she will...
Clutch play. Complete clutch play.
She is going to jump in after Kasaki. She's going to jump straight into the water and land by her. And she's going to, as soon as she sort of swims up and breaks the surface, she looks at you, Bruka, and goes, "Get away from us. Quick." And then looks like she's going to start doing something.
Oh, God.
It is now Theren's guy.
So, did Bruka yell, "Don't hurt it"?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that, right? Yeah.
Alright, Theren is going to... Am I still prone or am I up now? I'm confused.
You were fine.
Right.
You got the,
You're still fine.
Cool. Theren is just going to use his movement to close the gap between
Okay, 30 feet, yeah.
him and the thing. I'm assuming.
You have to be right at the front, and so it's by the base of the miniature to be able to get into the melee range.
Sorry. So, these are 5 feet, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah,
Right, so I can probably make it to about there.
yeah. So you're not quite in melee range because Aubrey's flying, so she's got a bit of height.
That is absolutely fine. I'm assuming that.
I'm also big.
Tell you what, I'm going to hold an action if I may.
Yep.
Theren is going to hold Eldritch Blast
Yep.
for if this thing turns back into a rock.
Okay, fine.
Clever.
If it turns back into a rock, you're going to hold an Eldritch Blast. That
Yeah.
seems very sensible. Okay. The Blackbird, very confused by what's going on. It sort of looks like it's going to peck Aubrey, but suddenly Aubrey is like twice as big as a person would be to a blackbird, right? This thing is, it sort of flaps and is very confused, and it is going to flap. Use a dash action. I imagine its flight speed is 30 feet.
50 actually.
50?
Let's say it's a raven for stats.
Okay, 50. So it is going to fly 100 feet into the air using its dash, straight upwards. So it's moving out of your attack of opportunity range.
I let it, because I heard Brooker say don't hurt it. I let it.
Okay, fantastic.
Could you grab it as a...
You can make an
reaction?
unarmed attack, yeah, and try and grapple it.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. I'm just thinking like, I've got massive hands.
Yeah.
Oh, if you cock it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. So I heard Brooker say don't attack it. And I'm very aware that I've.
So it flies 100 feet into the air. It is now about 150 feet above the boat. 120, we'll call it. It's difficult to put. Like, polymorph is a strange thing, but I like it. It's really good.
Awesome.
Very, very good play. Odie, what's Odie going to do?
Odie, she's still got Hunter's Mark, so she knows where the blackbird is.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all that matters. So.
She ain't got no arrows left though.
She's got no arrows, but she knows where there it is, and that's the sort of more important thing. She's just gonna. I think she'll get out her swords and then like hold an action if it turns back into a rock and dives. So
she's holding her ground and she'll attack it if it gets within melee range.
Exactly.
Okay, fantastic. Now to Drazda and Kasaki and Vincent, all showing the same initiative.
Excuse me. Oh.
Well, Cass, I'm assuming she's aware that Sarch.
Yeah, Sarch has just dived into the sea and gone to Bruka. Get away from us.
Then she is just gonna see what's going on with that because there's nothing else.
Make an athletics check as she tries to fight against the metal heavy armor that she's in the sea. 25. She's fine. She powers through it. Treading water is really tough. You can see she's beginning to get quite tired very quickly. It's like if Theren jumped in the sea in plate armor. You're gonna boom straight into the.
Yeah, we've already been there.
Yeah.
Done that, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so it is Vincent and Drazda. What will Drazda do?
What would Drazda do?
Drazda's pretty scared.
WDD.
She'd stay near Theren.
No, she'd attack it. She'd eat that bird.
Drazda is... She can't really do anything, actually, without using concentration, which she's got an enlarged Aubrey going on, or...
told her to stay near him if she was scared.
Yeah, no, you did. So she's going to go to move towards you, Theren. Okay. Vincent?
He's
behind it. He's hidden.
Yep.
Yeah, he's gonna keep down with his bow, trained on the bird, like Theren. If it returns back to his normal form, take a shot.
Okay, wonderful. Aubrey, this thing's about 100 feet above you.
I sort of looked to you guys. Should I go get it? Oh, should I go get it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a bit like Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, big Aubrey. I love this.
Is she also flying big Aubrey?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's like the angel of death right now.
Stay here, there's too much risk of damaging it.
Okay. I'll drop down and land. And lose my rage.
Did it get to try and save out your polymorph at the end of its turn, by the way? I forgot to, so we'll do it next turn, but I don't remember how it works.
It's,
I thought it was an hour.
Yeah, transformation lasts for the duration or until the target drops to 0 hit points or dies.
Okay.
So it lasts an hour. I'll say that in my next turn.
Yeah,
to the
fine.
game.
Okay.
Wait, so it lasts like that until it hits 0 hit points?
So like if I'd gone and hit it,
Yeah.
it would revert back to the form.
I understand now.
Which would not be good. So
Right.
if I'd have turned it into a crab...
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Makes sense, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Thank you for being kind on that, because I hadn't clocked.
okay. Well, that makes things a little different. If there's no saving throw on it, and it lasts an hour, and you're not going to shoot it,
Nope.
this thing will fly off. Confused by the fact that it's a blackbird and now tiny, it will fly off. So it disappears.
Bruka.
Sorry, that was a bit...
No, that's
saved
perfect.
us so much.
That's perfect.
Jesus.
It was a clutch play.
That was a clutch play.
So
I'm going to sit in the middle of the deck and just like concentrate so hard.
What is the range on the spell, however?
So it's...
This is important.
The range on getting it is 60 foot. But once you've done that, it doesn't say that I have to keep it within that range.
Let's have a look.
Up to you. It could be once
And
it's
we'll
flown.
be like, wait, it's got bigger.
Just from what I've, watching,
Sea eagles.
purely based on... Is it casting range or... Oh, it says area though. Oh.
What's this? Sorry, read out.
So, spell transform a creature you can see within range to a new form.
No.
An unenabling creature must make a wisdom saving throw to avoid the effect. The transformation lasts for duration or until the target drops to 0 hit points or dies. It doesn't say anything about disappearing at range.
That
it
means
just
it's
says
fine.
Yep.
it's concentration. So, as read, it's fine. It works. I'll roll that.
We don't need blue.
So, it just disappears off. Flies away and disappearing. Odie sort of keeps track of it for a little while, is sort of watching it disappear. You see that sort of magical sense with her. I think it's not quite flying towards Lydia, but it's not far away.
Oh god.
At this point, Theren has sheathed Bearclaw shield on his back, and he's rushed over to the other side to try and help up anyone who's still
Okay.
overboard.
So we've got an hour.
You know you're in the water when you say this, right?
Fantastic. So Sachi was going to thunderstep her way back up with Kasaki.
Oh,
Which is why she wanted
nice.
Bruka away.
That's clever.
Blow up the back of the ship.
No, it
It's
blows
maybe
up
five-
round you,
yeah.
but it's in the sea, so it was just...
That would have been good.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Theren turns to Aubrey. You can still fly?
Yes.
Get Bruka.
Okay.
Giant Aubrey just like comes down, reaching and picking them all up to the
King
deck.
Kong. but
Oi,
it's-
Shmoy!
I've got you now, tiny wood elf.
Was beauty that killed the beast.
There you go. It's really difficult to predict what things will fit. As a challenge rating 11 creature, just dealt with like that.
I mean, we're assuming it doesn't revert back an hour later, go... and
Where are they?
You did a bit of damage to
That
it.
was-
It's a bit confused. It won't immediately come back. With the sails sort of put back up, the Sarcher getting the boat out, you quickly get out of the range of danger.
I'm
Theren orders large Aubrey to get behind the boat while she can still fly and push.
Although as night falls,
Fuck off.
Aubrey, Dradster, Mirabelle, and Joseph.
How long does the large and reduced last for? Can I
A
ask?
minute.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, no!
There's no like altitude sickness, unfortunately, or anything like that. The map camera can probably turn off as well. But it's that's
Amazing.
brilliant. No, it's great. I love it. I love it.
Play.
It was fantastic.
Let's play.
See, that could have happened with the pirate ship and the tidal wave, so I'm glad it happened to that, because
Well,
that's
it works. You like fuck it.
exactly
Polymorph. So
from a selfish
yeah.
DM point of view. If you're going to do it on anything, that's exactly what the spell is for. It's exactly what the spell is for. So, Aubrey, Drazda, Mirabelle, Joseph.
perception, yeah.
Yeah, perception.
You guys aren't up to date on Critical Role yet.
No,
I am.
I'm not. Don't you dare.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Some both hilarious and excellent polymorph plays. But
Yeah.
Okay, right, fine. So, 14 is the highest from these guys, Aubrey?
11.
11. Okay, you don't see this creature come back. Everybody else can try and have a long rest as they want. Drazda is going to
Odie
attempt
definitely
it.
will.
I'm no longer exhausted.
Drazda still is exhausted.
So a long rest, did you say?
Sacha is still exhausted. Neither are sleeping well, unfortunately.
Things. Oh.
Exactly. It's tough.
D10.
It's tough.
Ooh. What level of exhaustion is Sartre on now?
She's still on 3. She just
She
didn't.
didn't gain anymore.
Just didn't gain. Okay. Go.
Yeah, sorry, this is a house rule I play with if you're sleeping and it's not particularly comfortable. Although, actually, no, to be fair, Sacha has rooms. She's the only one that does. So, yeah, sod it. I'm going to mark two of those off. The rest of you, you're all camping out on the boat, so
Yep.
it's all tough for
Even
you.
after all our offers of having people share with her.
Oh yeah, no, she wants her space.
Yeah, she's done now.
She's a captain of this boat. She's
To be fair, have you ever tried to pull someone who's knackered? It does not work.
no.
But also, she's had to face off like a whole raiding party of orcs, and now a
okay.
fucking orc.
Yeah.
Orc.
And since
rock.
Blue's loss, love is dead to her, so you know it's all fine. So
I don't believe that for a second.
Sorry, Brooker, you're almost in there.
Just need to put on some pounds. And...
okay.
Snap your
As-
twig.
Morning rises. Captain Sacha gathers you all onto the deck of the boat. Sort of points the direction you're going. The sunrise beginning to just sort of slowly push past the horizon. We'll be here in about an hour and a half or so. Has anyone ever been to Xerieos before?
No.
No, neither have I. Here's what I know about it. We know that there's some sort of unscrupulous behaviour going on. We don't know where. I found what maps I could in Yibret from sort of cartographers and other people that might know. From what I can tell, Lydia, it's a large forested island with lots of smaller islands around it. It's very forested. It's covered in trees. It's very difficult to get to the centre of the island by moving through the trees. We can't bring the boat that close. There are lots of small islands. There are shallow reefs. There are mangroves. There are all kinds of things in this area that stop us from getting our boat too close. We have options. We can try and find an island of some kind. We'll get as close to the central island as we can, and then sort of stop the boat, take the rowboat and effectively lead the boat out, or we can sail and hold anchor from quite far away. I believe there is also an inhabitant, a single place on these islands called Jindali's Rest. We can probably dock there. It's the only sort of civilization in the area. I don't know whether or not the people there are going to be hospitable. I don't know if they're going to be connected to this criminal network. I don't know if they could be good leads. The choice is yours. You know how you want to approach this.
What do you know of the inhabitants of Jindali's Rest?
It's an outpost on a rock. I mean, as you can see, we've seen very few people in this area. Xerieos is a uninhabited, swampy forest, effectively. And it's full of monsters, full of creatures. Nobody really lives here. The Jindali's Rest is essentially just a stopping point for merchant ships.
Right. Best not to sail straight in, then. I think we're best off. You anchor offshore, we'll take a boat.
Yeah.
Okay. So on near the main islands, or do you want to look at a small island first?
I'd say the main island is probably going to be our best bet.
Best
Can
bet,
you
yeah.
get us there with the falling star being out of sight?
I can try. Yes.
Do what you can.
Okay. She gets sort of onto the boat, and you can see just sort of suppressing a yawn, pushes the boat again, the magical energy pushing the boat on. After about an hour, on the horizon, you can see, unlike in the Beggar's Bowl, Yibret, Mount Arnan, all with mountainous ridges. This almost appears to be a smudge on the horizon, long and flat, a large forest that seems to just sort of rise out of the sea unexpectedly. There's no height on Zalidia at all. You would reckon 10 more meters of sea and the entire place would be covered. It is very, very flat. She makes her way across. Three of you make perception checks for me, please.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh. My first good roll.
16.
17.
17.
24.
24. Brooker, you're the first to notice this.
That bloody rock.
Sarcha takes you on a sort of circular route. She explains that actually the way you were coming, Genderly's Rest, is sort of facing Yibrit. If you imagine it was a clock, it's the easiest place to get to from Yibrit. And so she's taking you round. But as she's explaining this, you look and you can see smoke on the horizon in the rough direction from where you think Genderly's Rest should be. Just a soft plume, very distant smoke going into the sky. And you would hazard from a fire of some kind.
At Gingerly's Rest. A big fire?
In the direction of, yeah.
Big fire is in dangerous fire or normal
You
fire?
can see it from several miles away.
I relay this. Something's up. There's this smoke rising.
Is it a single, solitary, quite thin plume, or is it more of a...
It is a...
It's very difficult to tell from this distance. From 24, you would imagine that it's something relatively large causing the fire, but it's difficult to say how much from this distance. You could go closer to investigate.
Should we keep our distance? Keep with the plan?
I think we should keep in the plan, yeah.
If there's people in danger, we owe it to them to help.
So it just sort of comes over. We could either be walking into something dangerous, or we could be helping people who need help and gaining alliances in the area. It could go either way.
Best have a small attack force to go in.
Strike force.
That's the word. Sorry, it's very stupid when I was tall and big.
Okay.
I'm happy to go either way. We can continue our course.
If,
we can stop by and see what's happened.
How, just a sort of more out of being question, how many people can fit in the small rowboat? How many can we take with us?
In a rowboat, you could probably squeeze 4 people in at once.
How fast are rowboats out of interest?
Relatively slow. They move at about 20-30 feet per round.
I can do a spell that lets us walk on water for an hour.
We're supposed to be not getting attention towards
That
us.
helps. Well, no, because we wouldn't need to take the boat.
That's true.
How many of us?
10. I would... bollocks. I need to sleep and prepare it though. So it would be in the morning. What kind of time is it?
It is sort of maybe an hour after sunrise right now.
Ryan!
Druids, man.
Druids, man. I need to sleep.
You gotta click out your sea spells and you get your land spells back. Or vice versa.
Yeah.
If something has happened...
It's like having decks of cards.
I've had water breathing prepared for the whole session, just knowing as soon as things go really bad.
Yeah. Had the ship been scuttled, that would have been
really useful.
Yeah, very useful.
Anyway.
Yeah. If something has happened there, whether or not it will make people aware of our presence here or not, we have to do something. If the native population, the native settlers are in league with the masked ones, maybe this will be a way to win them over to our cause.
Sure. I just feel like we should try and keep as much, not the element of surprise, but that sort of...
I understand exactly what you mean, and believe me, I do not like this plan, but if that town is in danger and we choose to ignore it...
Fine, well, we should move closer then, on the Falling Star, and then within under a mile, maybe we should think about the rowboat, or maybe closer.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get a better look and then decide.
Cool.
Is that what you do?
Yep, that's what we do. Oh, that's what we tell Snatcher. She can tell us to fuck off.
She nods and...
Is it possible for us to approach in a way that we wouldn't necessarily be seen immediately? And we take the rowboat?
It's open sea. It's tricky. Genderly's Rest is on the edge. We have masts, we have sails. I'm sorry, we're visible.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And you can see she sort of points to the sails. The replacement sails are all white, unfortunately. It was a terrible... Well, if you don't sail in white, you tend to be suspected.
As pirates, yeah.
Well, yes. Why are you not sailing in white?
Extra ammo. Black sails.
Lilac sails.
Turquoise.
Turquoise.
I like
Sails for all occasions. So,
Exactly.
the ship is sort of turned about
Blue sails.
and sailed towards Genderly's Rest. As you approach, the smoke begins to get thicker and thicker. You can see the plume rising from a very small island, much smaller than Yibret in size. Bruca, with your perception, you're sort of watching as it comes in. The fire seems to be coming from one settlement, potentially from a few sources on the settlement. Maybe several things of close proximity have been set fire. You can see from a distance the burning wreck of a large tavern building, seen from the distance of maybe sort of a mile away as you sort of come closer. It appears to have been set alight. Several other houses in the area have all been set alight, but a long time ago, you can see maybe a day ago, the smoke now is almost like charcoal, and the devastation of the actual fire itself has now started to sort of come down. There is a house further into the island that does still appear to be intact. The other thing you see is, as you start to approach, out from behind the island itself, and now you can see the lady is sort of coming out, and there's lots of small islands and then a very large one in front of you. From some of the channels of the islands, a large ship comes into view. This thing is as unlike the pirate ship as you could easily imagine. The pirate ship, barbaric, wooden, built for violence. This ship is pristine. The wood stained a perfect white. You can see silver railings on the sides of it, large black sails crested in red, and the symbol of the Order emblazoned on it as a large warship comes round and starts to turn towards the falling star. What do you do?
Theren steps to the front of the ship and calls back. If it comes to it, I'll do the talking. Sheathes bear claw, takes a symbol from around his neck, and just holds it up.
They can't see from this distance, surely.
They
Might
have
have spyglasses.
they have a spyglass.
Oh, okay. I still
And he
said that out loud.
He just stands like that.
Yeah, you can see the sails being unfurled and the warship begins to pick up speed. As it gets closer, you see multiple humanoids of various sort of shapes and sizes of human, all setting about and bringing the sails down and sort of getting in. And maybe when it gets to about 500 yards, there is a booming voice that echoes out from the ship, filling all of your ears loudly, as if like broadcast from the loudest of speaker. Halt! Your ship is being subject to an inspection by the Order. Any resistance will be suppressed with violence, and your deaths will be swift. You have been warned. We will proceed the docking procedure imminently. Stay where you are. And it sort of comes down.
Are they always like this?
If it comes down to it, just let Cass and I do the talking. We're novitiates. It'll be all right. We're not holding anything illegal here. There's nothing to be concerned about.
Theren, you see Cass sort of points towards your sword.
I'm one of the Order. It'll be all right. We've heard of Inquisitors using magical weapons before.
And
But magical weapons that have been put through the books, acquired and then allocated.
Worst case scenario, I'll tell them this is for bringing back.
What?
That
Let's face it, how many members of the Order do you know that would take a random story, as convincing as it is, and not want to appropriate the weapon from a junior member of the Order?
Put it in
She
the
sort
bag.
of looks and looks at it.
Put it in your bag.
I don't recognise the ship, do you?
Do I recognise the ship?
History check. With advantage. This is your field of expertise.
Whoa.
Okay, so first one's 21.
Ooh.
21.
You know this ship.
It's not.
Yes! I knew it!
No, it's not.
Oh, I didn't know it! Damn it! Got too
You
excited.
know the ship. You've seen it dock in Appleby before. This is called the Justice. It is one of the newer warships commissioned by your father. It is a recent acquisition of the Order. It is state-of-the-art, equipped with gunpowder, cannons, given to one of your father's competitors to his role, High Inquisitor Vulcan. You know of him as being a taskmaster, as being violent and effective, and has risen up the ranks aggressively. You know that as soon as he sees you, he will expect you to fall into line and rank, even as a novitiate.
I take back claw. What?
If you give it to me, I can turn into, I don't know, a cat or a cockroach or something, and at the DM's discretion, it will form part of me. So
Yeah.
as long as they know,
Any equipment you're carrying?
yeah. So they,
Not when I let this up.
No.
it wouldn't necessarily exist if they cast detect magic or anything like that. They'd probably sense me because my transformation is magic. But I could just go into the sea for 3 hours, turn into a fish.
But how long does that... Is it 3 hours?
3 hours.
I still think the bag might be a better option.
I will be forced to upend the bag. They will see everything.
Could you give him the bag?
Yeah, give me the bag
Yeah.
with the sword in it. If you can trust me.
I'm about to find out if I
You
can.
can see Kasaki sort of goes to say it, and Zarcha sort of cuts in and goes, "No, she's absolutely right. The tales of the Order seizing magical artifacts that they don't think have been acquired legally. Anything you don't want seized, don't risk it."
Just check I can swim. I think I can swim in future.
I open the bag of holding
I'm just paranoid now.
and I drop back.
Make
low.
charisma saving throw.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Come on.
22.
Woo-hoo!
Drops in.
How does it feel out of curiosity?
It's difficult to say.
Seal the bag. There is more than just that sword in here that has a lot of value to me. Please be very careful.
Yes, of course. I will-
And I take off my wings of flying, just in case.
Oh,
You won't-
yes.
Well, I was going to say, you can put it on, or you need to attune to it.
I assume you're all doing this inside, by the way. You're
It's-
not like
it-
on the
it-
deck,
yeah.
right?
Dude,
Just-
yeah.
I'm just
I'm
assuming.
just playing it
Cool.
from the thing,
Theren
yeah,
will have
so
asked
you've got-
Cass to hold his position with
Yeah.
the...
Exactly. Kasaki, she sort of looks at your armour and adds, metalwork is fine, my weapon is fine. Have you got a spare sword? Both of you?
I've got a sickle.
Anything like that?
I would need something to wear at my hip, otherwise they would know something is wrong.
You had a crossbow earlier, would that not do?
You gave it back.
You gave it back,
I
didn't you?
returned it.
Longbow. It's Elven.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, Odie could give one of her swords.
I take one of Odie's swords.
Okay, I'll take
Yep,
that.
she sort of hands it over to you. Be careful with that. It's
You will have it back.
Okay, cool, great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Should we be worried? That's a big
Just
ship.
Remain calm.
Oh goodness, they have cannons. And you can see now the ship is beginning to sort of pull broadside, maybe about 200 feet, and the anchors are being lowered, and you can see out of the hatches are being opened. 3 large metal cannons are pushed out. And again, the voice, "You are trained in our sights. Move at your peril. Resistance will be met with steel and death. Stay where you are. The boarding will commence soon."
At this point, Theren, not even looking in Aubrey's direction, goes, "Aubrey, If I've ever asked you to do anything, please just remain calm through this whole procedure and it will be alright.
I am calm.
You once told me you were always angry.
Oh yeah. But also, do you not think they could have a more snappier title, like Resistance is Futile, rather than... You know what? I understand now why you talk so much when you fight. And I just like blither on.
I take the bag
Fuck off.
and sneak off the back of the ship.
Alright, as a fish of some kind.
Yeah.
Straight in.
I may swim down as Bruka for a bit and then turn into a crocodile.
Okay.
Sorry, will you remind me of the character's name? The
Vulcan.
Taskmaster. Vulcan.
Yeah.
High
High Inquisitor Vulcan.
See, I think crocodiles might not like open sea. They probably don't like
You will
open
turn
sea.
into a sea-appropriate animal.
Yes. I will turn into a sea-appropriate animal.
What is a sea appropriate animal, Sam? You tell me.
One would almost say a shark.
A shark.
Whoa.
Alright, go for it. A
will
shark.
Not aggressive!
I will allow a shark.
Wait, before you go,
I don't get attacked by something
before you go,
bigger.
is there a way you can contact us before you disappear off? Just to let us know you're safe. So we might not be off that ship for some time.
If I get attacked, I will turn back into my normal self and... Oh, yes.
Is there like some... Is there...
I'll turn back.
Make your way
again.
to the
I'll be
island.
fine.
We'll pick
Make
you
your
up
way
at
to
the
the
island.
island.
Yes.
If you see that solitary hut, go there if you can. Or
Okay.
hide in the trees.
Okay.
Okay, and I will turn into suitably a
blue whale.
reef shark.
Okay.
Because
Perfect.
reef.
So,
that
Yeah.
you mentioned
Bruka, you
earlier.
dive into the sea, you feel that familiar sense as you're beginning to adapt to your natural environment, and you feel the life in you as you can breathe the water, the items being absorbed into you. Now, do you hang around the boat, or do you go straight to the island out of the way?
Head up, then...
To the island.
What would you do?
I'll probably swim around for an hour.
Yeah?
If anything bonkers goes off, like explosions, then I would pop up to the surface just to have a look. But if nothing bad happens,
We'll keep
I
in
will
the air.
I will stay in the air for an hour and then fuck off to the coastline somewhere indescript.
Okay.
Plans.
Fair enough.
So.
The reason I'm asking is because we were going to have a little thing called Brukar's Fun Adventure Time. So,
Yay!
you spend about an hour
Okay.
circling the ship. The time goes. From underneath, nothing particularly grabs your attention that you can see.
It's just got a pipe.
Staying out of range of any magical detections.
Yeah, but it's quite a way. You can hardly see the ship at this point. You like even in the sea, it's salty, it's misty. You can't see anything. Nothing particularly picks up your attention.
Okay. So I've been around for an hour. Nothing explodes. I will head to shore.
Okay, you make your way to shore. As you get approach, it takes you sort of half an hour to swim out. You leave the ships behind you. You make your way to shore. Do you sort of get up onto the beach?
Looking at the shoreline first to see for any animals or creatures or anything bad.
Okay, yeah, make a perception check.
So you get your stats.
Is...
You just turn up on the beach like flop, flop, flop.
Well, I'll probably try and
No, I know, but I like that
Oh,
idea.
not bad. 15 plus 7, 22.
Whoa.
22.
Broke a shot.
There's no animals at all that you can see. As you get onto the beach, you realise just how small this little island is. It's probably 100 feet across in all directions. Trees sort of have been put into various places, and a dock stretching the other side of where you were out into the sea has now been burned to a cinder. Looking up onto the island, you can see, amongst other things, a tavern that once was, maybe about sort of 80 feet from you. Sort of you poke your head out of the sea and you're looking around. You can see a tavern now burnt to a crisp. You can see the wooden planks, the beams still smouldering, that grey, black and white, semi-marbled, charcoal effect of solid trunks of wood having been burned. This place has been torched. You can see 7, 8 different buildings, all in different states of affairs, but just inland, sort of raised slightly above all the rest, is a smaller house that almost appears to have a sort of veranda looking out to it. And the thing you notice with your perception check is there's a creaking as what appears to be an older man. How would I describe him? I just want to get the description because it's here somewhere. So, a very small man, a gnome, once you look at it, hunched on what appears to be a rocking chair on the front of his veranda. He's rocking backwards and forwards, a stick on the front of the veranda causing him to sort of push backwards and forwards, wispy white hair. And even from this distance, you can see sort of like marbled white eyes as he just sort of is rocking backwards and forwards just by himself.
Okay. Looking back at the boats.
You look back at the boats. It's kind of actually not much seems to have happened at present.
Okay.
You can see the falling star has anchored. It currently appears to just be sort of lying in the sea, waiting still. It appears like a couple of rowing boats are only just making their way over from the Justice. You can see again gleaming white and silver boats are being rowed across, but only just now. It has been some time. You don't know if there have been other boats. You don't know which direction, whether they've come from the ship or not, but you just see boats going over.
Okay. I'm going to make my way closer to this larger building with bloke outside and try and get a closer look.
Yeah. Make a stealth check. Unless you're going, obviously.
I'm not being sneaky. Just getting closer, walking slowly, having a look.
Okay, so as you walk closer, you make your way through what appears to be just a single street village. The tavern, again, you can just see the burnt remains of what appears to be a sign. You can still just about read it. It's sort of crashed onto the floor. It literally, just in terrible writing, says, "A port named Port."
Oh, wow.
And there's a barrel just to the side that seems to have been discarded, that seems to have like a stamp on it, just with a port bottle. But that's all it is. The man sort of rocking in his chair, sort of is rocking backwards and forwards, and sort of stops for a second and goes, anyone there? Who's that? You're not back, are you?
No,
I told you all to fuck off.
I think they have fucked off for now. I am not one of them.
Huh.
Who were the people you told to fuck off?
He's a order bastards, and he sort of clicks backwards and forwards.
Yes, I haven't really had the pleasure, but
Oh, I have.
What happened here?
What do you think happened? They burned everything down.
People?
Yeah, my family. Sort of like pushing backwards and forwards. Yeah, they're all dead. Just me now.
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I smelled them burn. They smelled amazing. Sort of rocking backwards and forwards.
Poor soul. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. I'll see what I can do with that. Just rocking back and forth. His eyes are totally cataract over. Even for a gnome, this is sort of the equivalent, maybe late 80s. Gnomes reach to sort of 200-300 years, all longer. This is an old gnome.
Okay.
What are you doing here? You're not one of them.
We were coming here to search for evil, but...
Well, you found it. Apparently I'm evil.
We've...
It's alright though, good guys came.
Arcanite.
Sort of looks over to you. What do you want?
We were told we could find some here.
Well,
but
you're in the wrong place now, aren't you?
Certainly seems that way. Can I help you at all?
How are you good putting families back together, eh? Stitches back up?
I walk away.
They'll burn you too! Sort of like rocking backwards and forwards.
Okay, I head into the trees and find some.
Okay. As you walk back through the village, you see burnt homes. It's appears to have been completely gutted. On the falling star.
Yep. Fuck.
These are your
You
people.
are made to wait.
High priest.
There's a
was
sort
right.
of you sort of hold the symbol out, and
Oh,
as
with
the
eight
rowing
fingers.
boats are sort of being lowered after maybe sort of 3-4 minutes of it being stationary, you see a man in white steel plate armor. The shoulder pads and the shoulder crests on his sort of shoulders are just flared upwards extravagantly. A large black and red cape. You can see long red hair that has been sort of almost gelled up into like a blazing flame above his head, ridiculously high. Very much like sort of villain from Incredibles style, you know, the sort of just pointlessly. And you can see across like his hands, just like even almost like taller than he is, a large great sword that he's pointlessly just resting. And you can see him sort of clock you from a distance, sort of put the sword to one side, talk to somebody alongside, point towards you. And then the voice echoes out again. You will wait there. We have records to check. State your name.
I sort of lower the symbol, put it back around my neck, hands behind my back, sort of at ease stance. Theren ap Alaric.
There's sort of as it sort of echoes out across the ship, he sort of leans over and is talking to somebody again. Yes, we have you on record. Novitiate,
Yes.
tell your crew. What would he say?
Sorry.
Tell your crew to stand down, disarm. We have some checks to run first. We'll be with you presently. Do not attempt to move. That is an order. Do you understand, Novitiate?
Yes.
Very good. Stand down. For the greater good.
For the greater good.
Sort of takes his sword, slings it onto like a pointlessly large sort of holder on his back, and then sort of walks off.
Theren takes a shield, takes the short sword, kneels, places them down on the floor in front of him. Imagine at the same time Cass does.
Yeah.
And sort of glances down at everyone else and goes, I strongly advocate disarming and not moving very far as you do so. Aubrey, your axe will be fine. It has only been enhanced. It is not magical.
I'll lay it down.
Thank you.
Okay. You are made to wait
Of course we fucking are.
about an hour and a half, and nothing happens at all. It is just pure silence from your end of the book. There are about 6 members of the order you can see sort of in various sort of chain mails and with, again, black and red and white armour, very sort of gilded and fancy, that seem to be holding crossbows and sort of pointing them towards the boat. You can see several people inside by the cannons, by the movement inside the boat every now and then. You just get that sort of impression of movement, but nobody seems to be moving at all. And you're made to wait and wait and wait. And Captain Sarcher just sort of like sits down on the boat and sort of puts her head against the mast. Oh, I hate these guys. What do you think they want?
If I'm assuming correctly, they will have probably heard word of the masked ones. Maybe they found Arcanite here and decided that it was safer to purge than risk any exposure.
Miyazaki sort of pans out, and that sounds about right. The Justice is an expedition ship. Members of the Order, High Inquisitors, are often sent on, longer term missions to seek out treasures or hunt down specific threats. I imagine this one has been sent here.
Theren sort of glances towards Cass but keeps his eyes on the ship and goes, Vulcan was rather disappointed that my father was named champion instead of him.
Yes.
Do you think he would be holding that against me?
She sort of looks at you. Would you not?
I would like to think that we are all above such petty things in the Order.
So like faces back. I don't think you know Vulcan, I'm afraid.
No.
I imagine he's going to make this very uncomfortable.
Theren kind of looks at Aubrey and goes, this will be alright. Arguably, if this is going to be worse for anyone, it'll be for me. That man will probably say some of the most demeaning things I've ever encountered. Try not to enjoy it too much. And he kind of smiles a little bit and goes, it'll be alright.
I'm just looking at the burnt remains of this island. If you could see like a cinematic sort of cut to the eyes and the sort of flames and stuff in the eyes, that's what it'd be. I am furious.
Yeah. After about an hour and a half,
Great!
Vulcan makes his way back to the side of the ship again. That sword, before he talks, he sort of plonks it onto the deck with the ridiculous plate armor and his hair as he whips out his cape, almost bellowing in the breeze. We will be soon over to come. You will board our boats. You will accompany to the Justice. We will interrogate you further here. Resistance will be met with short death. Theren, you have your orders. Sort of steps away. And rowboats are lowered. And then sort of setting off are about, in each one, large rowboats, about 8 members of the order in each. You can see 4 rowers, much younger individuals, not with much, just in leather armour, looking sweaty and hot already in this early sort of members of the day, rowing the boat, as on the front of each is a solitary member in plate armour. You can see with the sort of distinctive long sword. One of them has a long halberd. You can see it's paladins of the order, or what the inquisitors of the order, and some other guards on the boat as they dock alongside the Falling Star.
The ones in leather armour, do they look like acolytes or preservation members?
You would hazard preservation members. Yeah, not military trained, more here for assisting the mission. Probably not for rowing boats, but, whatever goes. Grappling hooks are thrown off and rope ladders are hoisted to the side of the boat as up, pulling onto the deck, 2 plate armour inquisitors step onto the deck. You can see the one with the halberd sort of fits onto the deck, such a wincing slightly under the impact, looks at you. There's 2 of you. Well, we were only told to expect 1. Novitiate Theren?
Yes.
And who is this? And sort of points the halberd very menacingly towards the Kasaki. And she goes, Novitiate Kasaki. Yes, very good. And sort of hoists over, and you can see a large jangling metal bag is hoisted. So a canvas bag with metal sort of being sort of jangled inside it. It's lifted very heavily and plonked onto the deck. You can see out of it comes manacles, metal manacles. For your own safety and to make sure that no violence will be taking place in the vicinity of the Order's gunfire.
Theren's hands are already up.
Yeah. You are required to be bound when taken over to the Justice. You will be kept, if willing, and as... what was the word? If you do what we say, if you obey orders, and you do not disobey them, your safety will be guaranteed. You'll be questioned and sent on your way if we deem you to be doing nothing that warrants your arrest. Is that understood?
Yes.
Good. Sort of brings over, and there's some of the other guard sort of come in and take the manacles and sort of lock Theren's arms and then just with a crunch. You can see Kasaki crunched in. Drazda at this point is sort of looking like rather sheepish.
Theren looks over at Drasser and goes, and just mouths to her, "It'll be fine."
So she kind of like steps forward as bravely as she can. You can see they bring out small manacles, like children manacles, you know, and chain them together. Some large ones are brought over to you, Aubrey. Hands out.
There is no need for this. I will come willingly. I do not need to be manhandled in such a way.
We'll only manhandle you if you resist. You come willingly.
I'm coming willingly without that.
Is that a threat? You can see him sort of just looking at you.
It is just a statement, sir.
Statement all you want. Shh. Arms in.
Aubrey, it will be quicker.
It's not fine. I refuse.
And that's where we'll leave it for today.
Ah!
Oh, what a cliffhanger we are at, eh? Fantastic. I thought, what better time? Let's meet the family, you know? Thank you. You guys did fantastically in that clutch play with the rock.
That was
brilliant. You got out of the pirate encounter with no more bloodshed. That encounter with the pirates, I mean, that would have been tough.
No,
I was just like, we can't fight that.
tough.
We can't
Yeah.
fight that.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything left really.
Yeah, I was pretty dry.
Parlay!
Just make them look like you're fine, like you can handle it.
Yeah, it is well done with some fantastic intimidation rolls, and again attacking the captain and getting the oars down, and then the clutch play of the rock.
The rock was excellent.
And-
Good play.
Saving all your magical items. Who knows if that will come in handy later? It's a fantastic play.
And
So
Drasta using enlarge reduce. So I was like, fuck yeah! I get one go!
yes,
Sorry.
No, we would not have
she
been able to take
actually
it out.
got that spell intending to use it on blue because she witnessed. Yeah, but she thought it would be good for blue. But this is a good use of it nonetheless. So
I'm happy with that.
thank you very much for watching, everybody.
Godzilla.
And we'll see how the party get out of this encounter with the Order alive, or whether or not
Fine.
maybe
They're
some
the
sins will
good
be cleansed
guys.
along the way, hey? And until then, thank you very much. See you next time.
No.